That was horrible.
My timer's going off, and I have to leave.
Right now?
Yes, I know we're in the middle of something.
We in the middle. We just started, Derek.
I know we just began.
We just began.
Something. I gotta go.
Your timer.
I gotta
Derek,
go.
I feel like your timer just went off less than 30
Wait,
minutes
does that
ago.
can next to you have soda in it? Because I need to crack something open real quick.
That's good Foley work. Wow, Derek, look at this pop you got. Okay, well, can we get back to the podcasting now yet? Or are you still you're still playing with a pinball machine over there? Oh, that's fun. Yeah, he's dancing and playing with the pinball machine. Does the pinball machine make sounds? Whoa, what was that sound? Wow. Jeez. I'm just seeing how much you got under the hood.
I mean,
there.
there's more, but that was like one break time worth of pinball gaming.
And is that your timer going off now?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, so we're back now. So
Yeah,
you
I
can
thought
come
that was very
come and
obvious by
you
the-
can come and do your job.
Yeah, I'm Derek.
And I am Isaac. And this has been a wonderful intro to our podcast we call That Was Horrible. This is our podcast where we do our best
At review.
Period. Reviewing the worst in the horror industry. And it's our birthdays together,
it's actually-
collectively.
Okay, we shouldn't say that because it's not technically our birthday yet.
And you can't lie on the internet.
It is almost our second birthday, though. We've almost been doing this podcast for 2 years.
That's scary. That's weird.
If
So
you've
it is
been with
almost-
us since the beginning of time,
Thank you. God
Thank
bless
you.
you. Many
time didn't actually-
Garfields bless you on this blessed day.
because time didn't actually start until the podcast began.
And time didn't really start before that until the Big Tomato created Tomato Tower. He rose it up
man.
out of the burrows of the earth.
Isn't it weird to you to think that the Tomato Tower bit is like a deep cut now?
Yes.
Like,
How
that
long has
is-
it been
that
since we've
is a
gotten to
deep
the
cut.
lore of the Tomato Tower? That is what fuels us, sends us the signals all the way from Big Headquarters, all the way from Tomato
Big
Tower
headquarters.
itself, out into the
The big headquarters.
Big Headquarters, Big Monday, all the corporations sending us all of our brainwave signals to bring this podcast to you.
I see a council of vegetables.
Yeah.
Right? They're all sitting around the table. They're trying to figure out the names for their locations.
Yeah.
Everyone looks down towards the head of the table, which is, of course, the tomato.
The tomato of
turns-
Tomato Tower.
He turns around and he's like stroking his big, green, viney mustache. Right?
Oh, okay. So he's got a mustache
Well,
now.
He's got it. Like the
Yeah.
vines of a tomato.
Yeah,
right?
of course. No, it makes perfect sense.
He doesn't have eyes or a mouth or anything. He's just a frickin' tomato.
Just a mustache. Just a
And he's
mustache.
like stroking the little green whiskery vine.
Yeah.
lips, Right, and he's like, "What if we called it the Big Headquarters?" And everyone's like, "What? We didn't hear you."
Yeah,
you were-
louder a little
you-
bit, please.
What if we call it the Big Headquarters?
The Big Headquarters. And then Peppy Pepper is like, what if we call it the Pepper Palace? Wouldn't that be fun?
Kill him.
No, please. No, what are you doing? Take me away. Ah!
Turn him into a verde.
Squished. He's dead. Let that be a lesson to you, anybody who tries against the throne, against Mr. Tomato of Tomato Tower.
Then Cucked the cucumber.
There had to have been a better name.
He pipes up and he's like, What if we turn it into a big manufacturing plant?
And then Corey Corn looks at him and he's like, hey, dude, hey, no, bro.
No, I thought it was a great idea.
Bro, hey.
Kill him. Then they take him and he throw him.
No, please. No, Corey Corn exclaims, like, that was my love. I loved him, please.
And then
Cuck the cucumber was my lover.
But they always
Ironic,
they-
considering.
But yeah, the love is weird. There's always 3 people involved, but no one can figure out why.
yeah, no, exactly.
But anyway, he gets turned into tzatziki sauce.
Oh,
because that's
okay.
cucumber-based.
But so it's not our real birthday, but we thought we'd celebrate a little bit like our childhoods when we would go to a place similar to like a Chuck E. Cheese. Were there any other like corporation buildings like a Chuck E. Cheese? Or did they just completely own that market?
I feel like we looked this up when we did our Five Nights at Freddy's episode.
There has to have been something else because I remember we looked into like there's a mascot for that gas station place called Buc-ee's.
Yeah,
and like
Buc-ee's.
that's a thing.
Which is basically Chuck E. Cheese.
Which is basically
like if you say
Buc-ee's
Buc-ee's and
cheese.
Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah. Buc E. Cheese.
I mean, they're incredible.
We're putting them back together. We're bringing Chuck E. Cheese back into the public's eye, and we're collaborating with Buc-ee's, and we're making Buc E. Cheese.
I feel like, oh my God, Peter Piper's was a thing.
What?
Peter
Piper?
You were right. It's the jalapeno chain. So he
Oh.
didn't actually die, but he became.
So that's what happened. So go back in the lore. He gets taken away and squished by Big Tomato, and he's on the floor, and he's on a goopy mess, and everyone's turned away from him because they think he's dead.
And he
pulls
crawls
himself
away.
away.
All of his seeds like dragging on like that. You know, like the inside of a jalapeno, there's like a vein.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like
dragging
pulling that,
behind
like, with
him.
his arms.
And his whole way is journey out of Tomato Tower, the many, many levels of Tomato Tower. Is like, I'm going to get back at them. I'm going to build my own chain. They'll see. I'll build a brand so big it'll take down Chuck E. Cheese and Tomato Tower.
And then he makes Peter Piper's pizza, and he makes a logo that's a circle and a chip.
And that's enough, really.
Yeah. So
is it doing well? Is it still alive?
I think so. I mean, they have a website that's up.
Well, that's all you need to be alive these days, is just to have a website, have an online presence, and that's how the world knows that you exist.
You know, there's a thing now. Like, in order to make it big on like Broadway and stuff, like in order to even get considered, you have to have like a TikTok following.
Wild.
Like I've seen some people online talking about that. It blows my
It's a
mind.
prerequisite just for anything these days. Like you have to have a huge following to do anything these days. It's crazy.
How do we get a huge following?
Probably by going to Chuck E. Cheese, I think.
We buy them all.
Let's buy all of the Chuck E. Cheeses. These two humble
That's not what I meant,
podcast
but
hosts.
also
These two humble podcast hosts put together all their money and they through fundraisers with the town. They had a bake sale, raised up enough to buy every remaining Chuck E. Cheese. I don't know if there's any that still
we
exist.
just need to get a sponsor like SoFi or something.
Yeah.
That's what always happens in these YouTube videos where they're like, we went to every Olive Garden. And like, so this one's like, we bought every Chuck E. Cheese.
and ran them all into the ground because we know nothing about business.
And if you don't want to be like us, check out our sponsor, Rocket Money. No, we're not.
We're not sponsored by Rocket
Though
Money.
I have been using Rocket Money, and it's actually been really great.
That's a real life
Not-
advertisement, not
not
paid
a-
for at all.
Not a,
That one's for free.
I wish that we were sponsored.
No more Rocket Money.
Hey, Rocket Money, if you heard that, if you want to retroactively pay us,
Yeah,
for
but
that.
next time, if you would like to get in on, we could. I bet we do a pretty killer ad spot. Because you know what's something that actually, you know what really grinds my gears is when that's the intro for this bit. What really grinds my gears is
Are you saying you're up on your high horse?
I'm up on my high horse a little bit.
Hello, I was hired for one purpose, and that's to give you a box to stand on.
What exactly is High Horse's job? Like you come in and then, so yes, you build a box for us to stand on, and then you just sit here. You just watch us.
Well, I've kind of become a joke of the podcast. You guys make fun
Oh,
of me.
High Horse.
Everybody's
High
mean to
Horse.
me. So
You mean a lot to us.
no. So after the last few weeks, I've decided that I'm going to do my job. I'm not going to put in a butt plug. I'm not going to do anything weird.
I'd appreciate the
I'm
lack
just-
of butt plugs.
I'm
if
just
you
going to
could.
come in here. I'm going to build the stupid ass box. You're going
You
to
know,
get on the box.
High Horse, do you not love your job anymore? Is building boxes not your true passion these days?
My true passion is
Uh-huh.
the coal mines.
The coal mines?
All I wanted to do, I was forced to be a dancer. And I just, my whole life, I wanted to be.
You come up to your horse father,
A coal
Dad, I just
miner.
want to I just want to mine.
I just want to go into
I
the
don't
coal
no
mine.
more. I don't want to
No
dance.
more. Take off my tippity tappy shoes, and I want to get into the coal mine where my horse brethren.
Well, would you mind building me a box?
right, I have one job. A big, 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 a big, 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 big.
So what I'll get up on my high horse about is the fact that I dislike when there are podcasts or things like that. Usually this only happens in a podcast thing where the ad break is a pre-recorded.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
all I
All of
love a fresh take every time. Because I've listened to a couple podcasts where when they started having ad breaks, they would do it all fresh every time. So every ad break was different. It was a little more interesting because typically there's some bits that go on throughout the ad break on occasion. But when it's just like a thing that you hear every single week on repeat until they record a new one with fresh ads, I'm like, yeah, I don't really like that as much. I feel like we could do killer ads is the point.
Absolutely, because I think we would do it closer to like how like Drew Gooden or like any of those, video essay guys do it, where they like segue into it, and you kind of feel annoyed but also impressed.
Yeah, you're like,
at
damn
the way
it,
they segue.
damn it, you got me. That was
Because-
clever. I
'cause
cannot deny it.
I think that was what just happened, right? We were talking about like not having finance.
It was perfect,
not being
right?
Financial. And I was like, and if you don't want to end up like that, be like me and download Rocket Money.
and take it away. It's like, hold on, you guys tricked me. You got me into an ad break.
But I
How
feel
did
like
that happen?
I feel like if and when we start doing ad breaks,
Yeah.
we gotta not plan it because that's like
Oh,
we
yeah.
can have like the 20-second preamble thing written out,
Mm-hmm.
but then like the segue into it, we gotta do something.
Gotta figure it out.
Because I agree with you. There's a couple podcasts I listen to that I literally know the beginning of the ad, so I could
repeat it with them. You know,
I could like skip it because
Yeah.
I don't.
Which honestly, in my opinion, makes them more skippable. When they do like an actual
absolutely.
fresh, different each episode with the ad break, I actually sit and listen to it.
Oh, me too.
But now with the pre-recorded ones that get played on repeat every episode, I'm like, I'm more likely to skip these. Actually,
Well, when I'm uploading our episodes to Buzzsprout, it specifically has an option to add it to automatically add in ad breaks.
So that means you just have to chop in somewhere in the middle and be like, this is where the ad will happen. Then you can just change it on a weekly basis, whatever you want.
And it will like look at our waveform and like it will like use AI now to figure out the best place for an ad break.
Weird.
Yeah.
Where would they put it in our mess?
Probably right.
Probably right before the. Probably right. And here's our sponsor, SoFi.
It's a great.
Not yet, but maybe one day. I know some people on the inside. We'll get some SoFiers up in here. But this week we watched another movie. We watched a movie. We're going back to our Cage days, huh?
Yeah, but we had no choice.
And we had Nicolas Cage, actually a friend of the podcast, coming to the studio today. Welcome to the show, Nicolas Cage.
Hi, it's me. It's really good to see you.
That's not, yeah.
I came all the way out here from West Virginia.
Is that where you live?
Mountain Mama.
Oh, okay.
Take me home.
Take you home. Oh, are you done?
Oh, country road.
and he's off, and he's walking away into the distance. He's getting into his blue Camaro and doing donuts on the driveway.
Almost heaven. West Virginia.
I loved the look on Derek's face where he's like, "You dick, you're putting me on the spot." But I know you love being Nicolas Cage.
But also, I couldn't remember his voice because earlier we were doing that bit. If you remember, like 30 episodes ago, whenever the last time we watched the last Nicolas Cage movie, we did a whole bit about John Wick and
Nicolas
specifically Cage. John Wick, though.
Yes, not Keanu Reeves specifically. Like it's close, but the character of John Wick.
I'm gonna need a gun.
Yeah, it's like
I'm gonna need a gun.
It's like if Nicolas Cage was a character in like Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and now Keanu Reeves is a character in Sonic the Hedgehog.
Oh my God, you're right.
So
he's Shadow.
We're just one step away.
We're so close. So there's like a Pokemon evolution here. We have Nicolas Cage and then John Wick and then Shadow the Hedgehog. All roads lead to Shadow.
All roads lead to Sonic.
All country roads lead to Shadow the Hedgehog.
Anyway,
we have not even. So we're back in our Cage days, fellas. Remember a while ago we watched the latest Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Well, now we watched another similar kind of movie that we actually had some people recommend to us back in those days. Yeah, what's up? Yeah.
Hello, I'm a fan of That Was Horrible.
Oh,
and I have
coming
a
up
comment.
Hey, yeah, what's up?
A big. I had to
He's
make my own
walking up
box
the steps to the
because
microphone.
I understand that the High Horror Palomino will not make me a box, even though it would be such an honor because I'm like your guys' biggest fan.
Oh, hi! I think we can arrange that.
biggest-
Hi, Horace. Could you get in here and build us a box for a fan?
Absolutely. I hate doing two voices at once, but you know I'm gonna do it.
You're deep.
Hello.
You're layers deep.
Hello, fan.
Oh my God, High Horse Palomino! It's so good to.
Well, thank you for bringing me up to the stage. I am your biggest fan of us.
This is stupid.
He's
bit
lost
is
it.
so
He's
stupid.
lost it. What was your comment,
I'm gonna
fan?
fast forward.
Fast. Big build a box. Bye.
He gave him his phone number and stuff.
What was the
right,
fan's
my comment.
comment?
My comment is that this movie's really highly rated on Rotten Tomatoes, and you guys said that you only watch movies that are like 40 and below. At first, you guys were like 30 and below, and I just want to know why you picked a movie that's like in the 60s on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh, you're so right, fan. All right, we'll Bawhead Bex, get this guy out of here. Get this fan out of here. Go, chase him away.
You keep making me two characters.
Yeah, I do. It's kind of fun. But I know the scariest part is I know you will do it in turn to me, and I don't.
Absolutely,
I'm scared.
Peanut Butter, I will.
But no, Derek, no, you hate Puny the punter.
I do.
I can't bring that character back. But little fan, you're right. We did say we usually stick to the lower end of the spectrum. This is going to be one of our first forays directly going against that.
Absolutely.
Because what is this movie currently rated on the
Look, I have it
Rotten
written down
Tomatoes
because
Tomato Tower?
I'm professional. It has a 61%.
So 61 is not
67.
Okay, so 67, not like the highest, but way up there in comparison to whatever we've watched. Definitely,
absolutely,
probably the highest we've watched for this, not including our like joke Alien episode.
Yeah, Alien is definitely the highest, but that doesn't count. So this was definitely the highest.
But so in that we have heard from enough people, had some requests from some people who said, "Hey, this movie sucked." Derek actually watched this movie last year.
I did, because I never expected us to watch for the podcast.
No, exactly. Yeah, it was too high at that. I do the same thing though. If I'm like watching a horror movie for pleasure, just for my fun free time, if there's a chance we could watch it for the podcast, I typically am like, no, we can't do that.
Oh my god, I just had another idea for a podcast.
Oh, a second podcast.
Yeah, we should.
This is a podcast within a podcast,
and we call it Pleasure or Leisure.
What's the difference between
There's
the two?
a big difference, man, and you're gonna find out on episode 1 of Pleasure or Leisure.
Which we'll make one day, never. But so we had heard from enough people that this one was not good. There are enough people that we know in our lives or had to tell other people to tell us that like this movie, not the greatest. Derek, what was your experience watching Willy's Wonderland? Have we even mentioned the name of the movie?
Oh yeah, we're watching.
It's Willy's Wonderland, guys. I'm so sorry. We talked about Chuck E. Cheese and Nicolas Cage and Five Nights at Freddy's. I figured it'd be obvious.
Whoa! So I just downloaded a new software for
it's so shiny
audio.
and new.
And let me tell you guys, I forgot to change it to just like normal numbers. So currently we're at 479.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to do the math. I don't know where we are. I know this was such a wild tangent.
The one's just right next to it. It just says, it tells you what it is in the minutes and seconds right there on the right.
It does. I didn't notice that.
That's a little peek behind the curtain for our editing software inside of this.
That out?
No, it's great now. It's in there.
Anyway, so yeah, I watched Willy's Wonderland last year. I watched it in October of last year during our horror movie challenge thing that we were doing.
Watching a horror movie.
I watched it for Nick Cage Day.
Yeah.
And I think it would. I love the word behoove. I've used the word behoove like 80 times in the last...
I had literally never heard the word behoove until I had a coworker that used it like in every sentence. And I was like, what on earth is this Victorian man coming into my kiosk? Yes, it would behoove us to do this. And you know what? He was onto something. He was really onto something. Because behoove, great word. Go on. Use it in your daily life.
It would behoove us for me to talk, to just say...
Your review?
My review.
Yeah.
I actually watched it when I was in Mexico. I had gotten like really, really sick.
Yeah.
And Emily and her family went out diving one day, and so I just sat at home and watched some movies. Well, in the wonderful hotel, which sucked because I was in Mexico. But that's neither here nor there.
Doing what you could do at home.
So the fact that I watched this while sick in Mexico and
on your phone too, right?
Actually, I remember now. I didn't watch it on my phone. I watched it on the TV. In the
okay. So you did see it on a full screen.
I did. The only thing good about this is my review from 2024,
verbatim.
October 11th. The only thing good about this movie is silent Nicolas Cage doing shit. Maybe I'm not smart enough to understand the metaphor of him humping a pinball machine while two side characters have sex in the other room. What was that? Also, like half of this movie is people forcing the plot dump on someone else. It felt so inorganic. Had a weird but not necessarily bad time with this, but also not a good time. I'm conflicted. So that was my review.
Yeah.
From 2024, and you'll just have to wait till the end of the episode to find out.
To find out the 2025 review, the new and improved, revamped.
Which is actually like 5 months later.
Willy's Wonderland 2.0.
It really wasn't that much later.
In a 5-month span, you've watched this movie twice.
But I think you'll be interested to know what things have changed and why they changed.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
One of Emily's coworkers suggested this one to us, and actually this is like the 4th time this movie has been requested.
People have recommended this enough, which is why we're going to go against the whole being like, this is too high to rate, or whatever our little fan said before we had Bawhead Bex kick him out of here.
Yeah.
Or I guess it's Goophead Bex now, because they're combined with Gooper, which is also deep lore that is so far away.
Deep lore that I'm surprised we've remember.
Created such deep character lore for a while.
Give a recap?
We were such a deep lore podcast for a second with our characters. They got so far away from us.
I think it would have worked if we had the drive to build a fan, like a wiki, and kept track of their story.
Keep them going. But then we don't touch them for 40 episodes.
Like Pocket Priest? Oh, it's me, Pocket
Priest.
Oh, I'm here.
Gosh.
I sit in your pocket and I
feel like this happens every 7 or 8 episodes. We're like, remember all these characters we used to have on the show?
It does.
Pocket Priest, Gooper, Bawhead Bex. And
I like reminiscing.
Who were some of the other ones? I remember there was one episode where I was Prancy, the practical effects wizard.
Oh, I liked him.
Which I kind of do enjoy. I feel like my life would be more fun if there were wizards in it just all the time.
Yeah, but we have our staples like Count Triv and
Count Trivia, science
Funny
gym.
Neil.
Hi. They're really like the trifecta of like our characters that actually still do shit all the time.
And they're
most
the three
episodes
that have puppets.
That's true. So they are our favorite children, I guess, in that sense. Yeah. I don't know if I want to build a puppet for Goophead Bex. That would just be a messy mess.
Like a goopy boy.
So we watched Willy's Wonderland from 2021 this time. My first time, Derek's second run at this movie, and I was kind of excited for it. Not gonna lie, like I don't know what it was about watching the trailer through it, but I was like, this one could be better than most people say.
Well, and I think I was interested to see how my perspective would shift. Right, I was interested to see like. I think that the means and the medium for which you embrace, what am I trying to say? Like embrace media.
Yeah.
Like it makes a difference. Like I was sick. I was in Mexico. Those are a great thing and a horrible thing.
Yeah.
You take your pick on which one is which. Mexico was wonderful. I would go back.
It was a great time. Every time Derek's gone on a couple trips to Mexico, every time he comes back, he's like a man reborn. He's like refreshed and renewed.
Baptized.
Sincerely.
This time was different because I got this
so
weird
sick.
parasite that made me lose like 25 pounds.
Yeah, you came back a little worse for wear this time around, but like you typically are like it's a refreshing.
But because of that, I'm down like 44 pounds,
which
since
is
a
wild.
year ago.
Which
so
is wild.
Like, hell yeah! Thank you, Mexico. Anyway.
But the method in which you watch the movie, also who you watch the movie with, be it alone or maybe with some people who either kind of negative naysayers and maybe they're like obnoxious during the movie. Because I've had it happen where like I have a bad movie experience because like an audience member next to me is being obnoxious, right? Like we've talked about that already.
It taints your experience, right? Like when we saw Asteroid City, I loved Asteroid City, but I'll never ever forget those people who hated the movie.
The family that walked out like halfway through the movie, just when it was getting good too.
Oh yeah, they missed it.
Crazy.
You can't wake up if you don't fall asleep.
But there is something to be said. Like even if there's nobody else there to skew your vision of it, your time with it. Also, watching it alone has a very different effect on it. Sometimes there are lots of movies that are much more enjoyable, even if you still think they're good. Much more enjoyable with a friend. Like watching them with somebody else.
I still think we've talked about this before. I still think it'd be fun. Oh, you know what we should do?
What should we do?
So we do our yearly rewatch of Slender Man.
Yeah.
Right? What if we watch that movie separate from each other?
Oh, boy.
Every time. So the first time we watched that, we just watched it us.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second time, we had a whole group of people. We had a party.
Yeah, that's
to
true.
Watch Slender
so
Man.
we're changing it up each time.
What if this time we watch it separate and alone on our phones?
And then the next year, one of us watches it, and we talk about it to the other person, and then we flip it for the next year.
I remember when it's Slender Man.
And he did a Slender Man, and he made that girl's mouth go away. And that was scary.
I forgot about that.
That's the one part I remember about that movie.
I only remember the phones.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
we'll put that. We'll be thinking about that one. But Willy's Wonderland. Derek, tell me a little bit about Willy's Wonderland from a production standpoint.
From a production standpoint,
give me the facts.
Give me the facts. All right, so this movie is written and directed by two different people. It's directed by Kevin Lewis, and it was written by G.O. Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't recognize any of those names right off the bat.
No.
It doesn't look like they're really known for anything. Kevin Lewis, I mean, honestly, his directorial IMDb page is not looking super exciting. He hasn't really done anything that I've seen. He did make Malibu Spring Break, which has a whopping 2.4 stars. Came out in 2003.
Wow, Malibu Spring Break.
Oh,
what a movie.
It's a Playboy movie. I'm going to go ahead and head back to this.
He regrets. Abort. Eject.
Eject. No. Not anything.
And what else is the other one done then?
So the other one, G.O. Parsons, he wrote this movie. It was actually based on a short film he made called Wally's Wonderland.
Oh.
In which he played and started. I didn't actually know this existed. We should have watched it.
Yeah.
It was a short film. And yeah, it was literally the exact same plot line. He actually wrote, directed, and starred in it.
Wowzers. Was he the janitor then?
Yeah,
the Nicolas Cage character?
Yeah, he was.
Insane.
Incredible. I
kind of
want to watch that.
I feel like a lot of great horror movies come from like proof of concept short horror movies. I feel like this happens a lot.
I mean, that's awesome. It was a bear back then. They probably changed it from a bear just to
to avoid. Yeah,
Five Nights at
I didn't
Freddy's.
see anything in the trivia or information about it that said like, no, this isn't anything to do with Five Nights at Freddy's. Because I feel like typically when movies come out that are so close to something else, they really have to go the extra mile to mention that.
Yeah,
they're like, no, we came up with this idea years before the kids were talking about that FNAF guy.
FNAF. This movie grossed only $457,000
On a budget of what?
$5 million. This movie lost $4.5 million.
Which is a tragedy. It is a tragedy.
Tragedy.
But it really felt like there was a lot of money that went into this. They have a whole building facade. The inside of it has the animatronic costumes look super cool and all this.
Yeah.
So those had to be expensive in itself. They had custom made t-shirts for things, posters and signs and all the there's no way this movie could have been cheap to make, and clearly it wasn't, and it just did not make that money back.
No, absolutely not. And apparently a bunch of that money went into a video game adaptation. Do you know anything about that video game adaptation?
I've recently discovered that this is a thing. And
Maybe go check out our YouTube channel, because we're about to go play that game and post it on there.
Yeah, I am. To say I'm excited would be a lie, personally.
No, but we are going to do that after you're done listening to this. Head on over there; it will be up there.
Yeah, check out our YouTube channel. Just That Was Horrible, and find us playing the Willy's Wonderland tie-in video game that they made.
It is going to be so fun.
It looks so good. AAA game, really.
I mean, the fact that it released on Android and iOS in 2001 was taken down on those platforms, then re-released later. 3 years later.
Insane.
So technically it should be better now.
Yeah, they went in and spruced it up, guys, right? It was a $5 game. It has to be great, right?
I can't remember. There was another game. There was another movie we watched where they made a game. Oh, it was The Mummy. It was The Mummy.
That's right. It was Tom Cruise's The Mummy game, and they made a tie-in game, which apparently was not bad, right?
Yeah, it was The Mummy Demastered is what it was called.
Yeah,
that one was actually pretty good.
That's right.
But it's funny to me that it has happened yet again, where a bunch of their budget went to making a game.
Which I'm honestly sad doesn't happen more often. I feel like back in the early, the 2000s, maybe even a little bit 2010s, every movie came out could almost always had this weird, less than great video game adaptation.
I will always remember the Series of Unfortunate Events game.
That's right. See, that had one.
Game.
Van Helsing had its own video game too. That I played a lot of that one, actually.
Oh yeah, me too. That was a good game.
There's just
I actually was more familiar with the Van Helsing game than I was the
movie. Which is crazy.
I don't think I had ever seen the movie, or at least I didn't like it. I don't remember where we stood. Go listen to our episode on that one.
It was a much more common thing to just make a video game tie-in adaptation just coincide with a movie, and nowadays it's not as popular.
Well,
so props to you, Willy's Wonderland, for doing that, because that's actually really fun.
Sorry it failed.
Sorry it did not do very well.
Well, I think their problem was that they released it on an app.
Yeah.
Right? Video games on the phones, I don't know. It just never has taken off in the way that anyone has wanted. I love me a good casual, pick up my phone and play a game.
Of course, just quick. It's convenient.
But to play a full game based on something, I want it on my computer or on my Steam Deck or on my PlayStation or on my Switch.
Absolutely. The better place to be gaming, right? But then, you got a game like Willy's Wonderland, and it doesn't do incredibly well.
It doesn't. So let's go back to the world of Willy's Wonderland.
Yeah, take us back into the world.
Apparently, they were supposed to have shirts for this film, and I would like to buy a bunch of them.
I would love a Willy's Wonderland shirt. Are you kidding me?
I would. Also
Nicolas Cage sure goes through enough of them during the run of this movie.
All right, so Willy's Wonderland is sitting at as we went over, a 61% for the critics and 67% for the audience. Letterboxd is sitting at a 2.6. IMDb is at a 5.5.
5.5.
5.5. This movie actually had 2 awards nominations.
No wins, though, which I can't say I'm surprised about.
Well, that's sad. Best production design for Molly Coffey at the...
Fair.
That's not a real word, so I'm not going to say it. And then at the Critics' Choice Super Awards, the Best Actor in a Horror Movie Award was nominated for Nick.
Nicolas Cage. Okay, good. Yeah.
Nick Cage.
What a wonderful man he is. I'm sure I mentioned this in the last Nick Cage episode we had, but I so appreciate his dedication to only doing projects that he wants to be a part of. He's never he is never, at least as far as I've known, never sold out to do some big, he's not in any big Marvel movies or anything like that. He solely stays on the outskirts, mostly in horror movies, and just does weird, outlandish, super strange stuff. And he loves that.
And he does great at it.
And he keeps doing it, no matter how much money it makes. Willy's Wonderland lost a shitload of money, and he's still out here doing weird stuff.
I'm going to do something real quick, okay? So I'm going to say a sentence in Nicolas Cage's voice.
Okay.
Expectations. I'm going to laugh this time around. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, expectations. I'm going to laugh this time around.
Now, Derek, who is that voice there?
That's Jennifer Coolidge.
Jennifer Coolidge.
If you think about it, Nicolas Cage is just Jennifer Coolidge, and Jennifer Coolidge is just Nicolas Cage.
There are two sides of the same coin. If you flip a coin, I'm going to do that every time now. All right, flip a coin, heads or tails. No. Jennifer Coolidge or Nicolas Cage.
Call it in the air. I got Jennifer.
I got Jennifer again. I got Jennifer again.
I got Jennifer again.
I don't have a good Jennifer Coolidge impression.
I don't either, but I sure like to do it.
Is this just an excuse for you to use your Jennifer Coolidge?
I don't have a Jennifer Coolidge.
I feel like there's a Jennifer inside of us all fighting to get out.
She's gonna come out. It's so nice. You look like the 4th of July. You look like.
Okay, now I can't get back to Nick.
Now I got to find Nick. Find the cage
where
again.
was he?
Find your cage. Dig
They
deep,
all start
Derek.
with a.
Yeah.
You look like the 4th of July.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh man,
Now,
this
Derek,
is so bad.
Derek, I feel like it might be a little hard to do an impression of Nicolas Cage after watching this movie. Why would that be?
He doesn't say goddamn word.
He doesn't say a goddamn word in this movie.
Nah, man. So Nicolas Cage, I remembered one thing about his performance for this movie, and that was that he didn't say a word.
No
And
talking.
I was actually I was mad about it when we were sitting down. I was like, guys, what's the greatest thing about Nicolas
Well,
Cage?
it's so iconic, right?
his
Everyone knows
voice.
him and his voice, the way he sounds, like
Yeah.
just, even the way he delivers lines. Because again, I feel like there is something to be said about like the appreciation for Nicolas Cage comes in how weird his performances can be often.
I always start with a groan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Starts like this.
But I don't do that. That's
Declaration of
Here's my impression of him in this movie.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's good. What about when he's beating up an animatronic? Can you give me some? Yeah. That's really all you get are the grunt sounds.
No, he's getting a little bit.
Yep. That's
And
and then a can of Punch energy drink, which we'll get into when we get into the episode. Derek, should we talk about the Rotten Tomatoes reviews for this movie?
after you tell me what you're drinking,
What am I drinking today? Why should I try to tell you when I got my good friend Bilbo Bartender who can tell me what it is?
Oh, it's me, Bilbo Bartender.
Wow, Nicolas Cage filling in for Bilbo Bartender this week. Mr. Cage, if I may, I must say you were doing a wonderful job as Bilbo
I
Bartender.
have to prostrate out my chest.
Yeah, of
What am I
course.
gonna do it?
That's how he is, obviously.
Yeah. So what you're drinking today is you're drinking a nice little cocktail. Nice. You're drinking a cocktail.
Nice. High five, Nick Cage. High five.
Don't make me leave my position. I'm currently in.
You're grandfathered into this awfully uncomfortable position, Mr. Cage.
Thank you. Anyway, my drink today is that it's a
Oh, come on. What
got
is
like
it?
a little pipeline punch.
Okay, yeah.
And then along with that, you got
Just like the energy drink in your hit movie, Willy's Wonderland.
fucking love that drink.
Yeah, you drink a lot of this.
My favorite drink in the world. It's a
Yeah.
And it
So,
makes it
Mr.
with
Cage.
margarita.
Now that so it's Punch and Margarita. I must ask you,
Yeah.
when you're on set for a movie like that, they have you pop open these cans of fictional energy drink called Punch, right? What is on inside of those drinks? Do you think on set?
They actually replaced the energy drink with Bud Light.
They just cracking open a cold one.
I got so fucked up during the course of that film.
Took us months to film it just because I was so fucked
I was so fucked up. I just couldn't stop.
And that's why you're wearing sunglasses through a lot of the movie, huh? You're really just like hung over all the time.
That was because I accidentally stuck a fork in my eye and I
What?
couldn't see.
Well, how'd you do that, Nick
I
Cage?
was eating.
You was eating. Just getting real into your food, huh? I love seeing Derek squirm when he doesn't know how to exit a bit.
I don't.
Thanks for joining us, Nick Cage as Bilbo Bartender. Yay!
Wait, I have to say the catchphrase.
Yeah, say the famous catchphrase.
A soupy twist.
That's it. Yeah.
Bye.
And he fades away.
Sometimes Isaac will look at me when I'm doing these bits, with just like the widest of eyes of like, what the fuck are you
Like,
doing?
what's going on
What are
here?
you doing?
I'll just avoid it. We're in a void here. We're in a box. I'm podcasting with nobody next to me.
No, that's sad.
That would be very strange. I know there's some people who podcast like and they Skype with each other. That would be so strange.
I mean, like one day we'll have to do something like that.
I guess it's fair. I mean, I guess it would force us to focus a bit more so that we couldn't just like joke and josh and
we would
mess
probably
around.
get it done a lot faster.
It'll be a shorter episode, probably.
But what's the fun in that?
But so Willy's Wonderland has, which we haven't had in a second, a critics consensus and an audience consensus.
Oh, nice. Can I read one of them as Nicolas Cage?
Yeah, please.
I need to do the voice one more time this episode.
Do you think he's the critics, or is he? I feel like he's a man of the people. I feel like he's an audience.
He is a man of the people.
Okay, so I'll go with the critics consensus. The critics say Willy's Wonderland isn't quite as much fun as its premise would suggest, but it's still got Nicolas Cage beating the hell out of bloodthirsty animatronics, which is nice.
The audience says, the story isn't great, but it's got a fun 80s slasher movie feel, and Nicolas Cage using random objects to destroy homicidal kitty characters. What else do you need?
I'm so bad at that voice.
I disagree. I think it's actually pretty good. Not gonna lie. Every time I'm like, wow, he's really doing it.
It's because you start with the
Yeah, you just always gotta start.
I need to like make my voice.
I
need to make my voice more recognizable. So I think I'm going to do the Jennifer Coolidge and completely change
Jennifer
my voice.
Coolidge. I can't.
Coolidge.
I'm telling you, man, you just got to do a
They're
Nicolas Cage.
so
and turn
close
it down.
to each other. The more I think about it,
You have to just turn down. So like you start it.
Yeah.
You started here, and then you just start turning it into, hello, it's me, Jennifer Coolidge.
it's like it goes from your throat to your nose a bit more.
Yeah. So,
This is a lesson in voice acting here from Derek Wayne.
all right.
Should we read some critics reviews for this one?
I would love to.
Stephanie Malone from Morbidly Beautiful with a fresh review says, the fight choreography is energetic, the kills are satisfyingly brutal, and the movie never overstays its welcome.
True. Scott Weinberg, who we read about all the time, but this time he's writing for Thrillist. Nicolas Cage locked inside an abandoned arcade with a menagerie of massive murderous monsters. A menagerie of massive murderous monsters.
Menagerie
Scott
of
Weinberg.
massive murdery monsters.
Way to stroke me off with
Wowee.
alliteration.
Way to stroke us, Scott.
Nicolas Cage locked inside an abandoned arcade with a menagerie of massive murderous monsters. Sign me up.
Wow.
I could kiss him.
God, I could kiss him for that, yeah. Matt Brunson from Film Frenzy with a rotten review says, it's Cage against the machine in this high concept, low IQ. See, that's another good one. It's damn. Cage against the machine. It's beautiful. It's poetry. It's beautiful. It's Cage against the machine in this high concept, low IQ enterprise that's about as much fun as an air hockey table that's missing the puck.
Oh.
Ooh. Damn, Matt Brunson, you hit him. But Cage against the machine, that's a winner right there.
That was so good.
That's a winner.
Brian,
What's your last?
Brian Eggert of Deep Focus Review with a 1.5 out of 4 says, aside from the occasional inspired moment of Cage playing pinball or unloading rage on Ozzy Ostrich, there's not much to savor here. It's a neat idea that never takes off beyond the concept stage.
Oof. Well, Derek, I think we've dicked around enough. Are you ready to get into what we were thinking, our expectations? Did you jump in?
I dived in. Yeah.
He's dived in. Okay, so our expectations for this one. Generally, expecting this one, I thought it would probably be a good time, honestly. Even though you were like, I don't know about this. I thought my review by the end would be like, is fun with friends. I think this is definitely a movie not to be watched alone. Is more enjoyable. You can kind of poke fun at Nick Cage and his weird antics a lot of the time. But I thought we were in for an enjoyable time.
Okay. My expectation was that I'm going to laugh this time around because I didn't really laugh at it the first time I saw it.
Really?
It may have been because I was running to the bathroom and puking.
Yeah, probably because you were a miserable sick man. But yeah, my first formal expectation was more weird Nick Cage in a positive way. He's a strange man that does strange things, and it's enjoyable. I mean, like, really, I feel like that's like the only selling point of this movie to make it not just like some weird knockoff of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
With him at the center of it, I feel like it was set up for success a little
Can you
bit.
imagine writing a movie like this and then being like, I don't know how to make this movie work, and they're like, guys,
Cast
we've got
Nick
Nick
Cage.
Cage.
I wonder. You think they really were like, this movie just isn't working? Like what? Like how far along in the process do you think they were like, Nick Cage has to be the guy?
I don't know.
It's got to be him
because on the surface level,
yeah.
Like if you just pitch this movie as it is, I would not immediately jump to Nick Cage.
No, it would not be my first thought. I don't know who would be. Now imagine Willem Dafoe in this situation.
That would be fucking incredible.
That would be wild.
I would love that. And he would also do it very well.
Of course,
it'd be different. It'd probably be a 5-star movie.
Be a very different take for sure. But yeah, so I was thinking weird Nick Cage would be fun.
Yeah. I'll enjoy this way more this time because I'm not watching it alone in Mexico while being sick.
There, you got a couple points added here just to make it a bit more of a pleasant experience. I said it was going to have very loose connection or like related stories to Five Nights at Freddy's, and that's just like, it's kind of hard not to when it is such a popular thing that has like children's mascot characters in a restaurant setting, like, and they're turned horror. Like, since they cornered that so hard, it's hard to make anything other than that that does not feel derivative of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Absolutely.
So it's like, I feel like it will feel that way, but like, there's kind of no way around that really at this point.
Yeah, for sure. I'll pay more attention to the cinematography this time, and I'm going to be severely unimpressed.
Oh, yeah. I said brutal kills. There's something about this one, the way, I mean, the whole movie is edited this way, but the trailer as well. It's just like, it's high octane, it's fast. There's a lot of like brutal like moves of the camera with some brutal punches and blows, blood splatting all over the screen. So I was expecting a pretty brutal kill kind of movie, just really intense.
Plot will leave a lot to be desired. That's basically
period.
The whole
Plot
thing.
will leave a lot. I said it was just going to be fun to see Nick Cage beat animatronics. Like, if the movie has nothing else to offer me, at least it has that. Yeah. And that was part of the drive for me even being interested in this movie at all. Because Derek, I was actually kind of sad when you told me you don't need to check out Willy's Wonderland. You can really skip this one. I was like, a little bit I wanted to. And so I was like, at least I'll have that to look forward to. I want to see that.
Yeah, Nick Cage is kicking ass as always is an expectation. Basically the same thing.
Basically the same right there. My final expectation just said colors and sets that are reminiscent of the 80s. There's something about the vibes of this one, the bright neon colors that they were using. Some of the things in camera really looked like something you would see in an 80s movie, which, you know, I love personally.
Absolutely. So much oily blood CGI. That was one thing I remembered from the last time, but I wanted to see if I remembered correctly. Like, just the amount of CGI After Effects they used instead of just using real oil.
Which they very well could have, you know.
And they did at times.
It's not that hard to do. So is it time? Should we dive into this movie? So let's jump in here. So let's just give you a quick synopsis on what this movie has as a whole, right? So a quiet drifter is tricked into a janitorial job at the now condemned Willy's Wonderland. The mundane tasks suddenly become an all-out fight for survival against wave after wave of demonic animatronics. Fists fly, kicks land, titans clash, and only one side will make it out alive. That's a pretty kick-ass synopsis, not gonna lie.
That's fantastic.
I've never appreciated the art of a good synopsis until that one right there, but I'm in. Typically, you only see that kind of like pow punch kind of title caption like that in like a trailer or something. Yeah. But like a synopsis should also kind of pull you in, and I feel like it really did.
It really should. It's your elevator pitch.
From the top of the movie, I really enjoy the design of the animatronics. I think they were really fun
for the most part.
For the most part.
So there's like 8 of them, and one of them is just a girl in a mask.
Yeah, it's like a girl who's wearing like a spandex suit to like cover her fleshy skin, and then she has a mask.
She is, technically.
Yeah.
But like you can't even tell.
No, it's just like it's pale white, like but it looks like a person.
It doesn't matter how much a human being in a leotard pretends to be a robot.
And acts like a robot, you know, sitting there doing the robot. Bzz, bzz, bzz.
That made it feel more cheesy.
Yes.
I feel like if she spends this whole movie, literally like there is a moment where they add like sounds to her walking, and it just made me so mad. I remember after the first time I watched this movie, I sent you a clip of her.
This is the one character that Derek was annoyed about. He's like, I'm pissed about this one specifically.
Well, when you have, 8 characters, and 7 of them have full body costumes.
It is kind of weird where it's like, did they run out of budget for making an 8th costume?
No, because they made a goddamn video game.
That's true. Yeah. Could have taken the budget, but that's the thing. They're like, okay, we have enough money in the budget to either make a video game about this and make lots of money, obviously, or make another animatronic costume.
Put Sally Siren in a fucking animatronic costume.
Which is just like, at that point, like, do you just get rid of the character then if you don't have another costume? I don't know. It felt weird. Siren Sarah. It felt weird that every other character had a full costume and she just had a mask. And that was it. It was just strange. But props to them for having completely practical suits for all of these things with some touch-ups of CGI added here and there. And specifically, that Siren character has a couple of CGI things that are very strange.
Well, and it's also, I mean, they put a lot into this because each animatronic has a different performer in it too.
Yeah,
Every single one has a different. So, like, I want to list them off.
Please.
So, like, Willy Weasel was played by Jiri Sinek. Tito Turtle is played by Krish Smith Jr.
I love the names they have for these two. The alliteration is fun.
Yeah. Ozzy Ostrich was played by BJ Geyer. Gus Gorilla is played by Billy Busey, which the fact that they got someone who has a
Busey name?
No, an alliterative name.
Oh,
Gus Gorilla, Billy Busey.
Billy Busey, yeah. That's how he
my God.
the gig,
and so did the next one. Cammy Chameleon was played by Taylor Towery.
Wow, okay.
Incredible. Siren Sarah's Jessica Graves. Nightly Night. So stupid. Was Duke Jackson. Artie Alligator was Christopher Bradley.
We need to get you to play one of these animatronic characters and call you Derek Damon. Derek Dayman.
That's so sick.
That's nothing. It's not
sick.
It's
so
terrible. But yeah, so there are 8 total of these things.
Isaac Eyelash.
Yeah, I got nothing. Eye does not go well with the alliteration.
Isaac
Iguana.
Isaac Iguana.
Isaac Iguana. That's
Iguana.
I guess if I was an animatronic thing, that would be my thing.
No.
You'd be Derek. I feel like dog is that's too obvious. What else is
Dalmatian.
there? Derek Dingo.
Dude, Dingo.
Derek Dingo ain't bad.
Hoppy hop hop.
Derek Dingo and Isaac Iguana. Those are our Willy.
That's a kangaroo.
That's pretty good.
Oopsie.
But so anyway, I really appreciate. I mean, I will always come from.
Same.
I will come with love. Come at a movie with love if it has practical effects and it used heavily. And there are a lot of practical suits that are very, very impressive. This movie is shot so much more like an action movie than any horror movie I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
Which does lend itself to some really high octane, really fun moments. But like, it also it feels like a director who usually does action movies took their first swing at a horror movie.
For sure. And another way I would describe this movie is it's an early 2000s movie made in 2020.
Yeah.
Because like there's a lot of moments in this movie where like the camera's moving in weird ways and like it's like shaking and it's like zooming in strange ways that feels reminiscent of like a Final Destination or something.
Yeah.
It's something like you wouldn't steal a movie, that kind of vibe, right? You know what I'm saying.
You know what we're talking about here. Should we mention the mild, just barely enough to make you kind of sick fisheye lens effect that was on the screen?
And not sick as cool.
Yeah.
Sick as in like it actually was making us nauseated.
A little disorienting a lot of the time.
Well, the problem with the fisheye lens is when it's extended that far. So like the entire screen was in fisheye. I never noticed this.
Yep.
And I think it was probably because I was actually sick.
Yeah.
And I was...
So you thought it was just normal. You're like, I feel sick, but that's just normal for me.
This is fine.
I'm fine. Everything's fine.
But Emily started pointing it out where like there were like people standing on the sides of the screen, and if they were too close to the edge of the screen,
they were warped a little bit.
They were warped. Yeah, it looked like those, like, you know, those pictures on Facebook and Instagram where someone like used Photoshop to make their boobs bigger, but it like warps
everything
arms.
around them.
Yeah, that was definitely that.
Or even like a
vibe.
funhouse mirror kind of effect, right? Just enough to like bother you the whole time.
Well, funhouse mirrors are just using Photoshop on you
the whole time. Yeah. It's live Photoshop.
There's actually a little guy in there, and he's like, he's got a little computer in front of him, you know, and he's got his stylus, and you stand in front of him. It's real time.
Yeah.
And then he like flips it back and forth whenever you like look away.
Mm-hmm. But like, there's somebody he's got like a crush on. He doesn't make them look quite so bad.
Yeah. So like,
and then I step in front of the mirror. It's like, I look so crazy. Are you not getting this? Like, you come back in the front of the mirror, and then the little guy just draws up another sketch and puts. Why is it a sketch? Why is he drawing the mirror?
I don't know. But it's funny. It's cute.
I like how it started as Photoshop, and then you started like with your hand drawing it out in front of you on his little tablet. But anyway, yeah. So he has a crush on this person. So like, he doesn't make them look super weird and stuff. He's like, I could never, please.
So like, you
Not
have a
for
friend.
you, my beloved.
You walk up to your friend. Hey, how was the carnival? Oh my gosh, I went into the funhouse mirror, and let me tell you, I looked so damn
gorgeous.
good
Honestly,
in that funhouse mirror.
It's like, well, I mean, funhouse mirrors really.
They're meant to make you look.
They're meant to make you look really weird.
You look great right now. Are you hitting on me? Go home.
Go home.
I'm your teacher.
My lover lives in the mirror. Thank you very much.
And then
I'm in love with that man in the mirror.
Oh! And she's sitting there looking at herself in the mirror at the funhouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, she thinks she sees him on the inside. And you see the little man just like putting his hand up against the mirror. Imagine he's like an elf from the North
Is he
Pole.
trapped within this like dimension inside of the mirror,
Yeah,
or is he just
cannot
straight up
escape.
just like on the other side of like a wall?
No, he's just, well, okay. He is just on the other side of the wall, but his captors tell him that he is trapped in a dimension.
He's in this
cannot
dimension.
escape.
But he's like, how can I must be able to transport myself through other mirrors to find you.
And he feels like he makes eye contact with her, and at that
Just
moment does her boyfriend walk up and put his arms around her and kiss her on the cheek.
Stop,
And you just see
Derek.
one tear.
But there's a bit of like
down.
a half smirk on her face where she's like, "This is the life I have, but not the life I want."
Yeah,
you
absolutely.
know,
And he
I
feels
want
it. And she
I want this
in
love
that
I feel
moment,
beyond the mirror.
and in this moment is when she looks through the mirror and sees this short little guy. And she just feels that love.
Is he a gnome? I feel like he's like a gnome.
Yeah,
to
I
me.
said he was an elf.
Yeah, he's
from
like some kind of
North
elf
Pole.
gnomish kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. Or at least a half orc.
Yeah,
I
of
don't know.
course. Yeah, okay, yeah.
I don't know. It just makes sense. But
I mean, it makes sense if he's like a half orc. He's got like, you know, defining features that make him like quote unquote ugly to society, and that's what he does to other people inside the mirror.
Oh my
but
God,
not her.
you're so
But
right.
not her.
Not her. And then as that one tear falls down his face, we zoom out, right? Because everything's a movie.
Yeah, of course.
And we zoom out.
I see the
and
camera work
There's
here.
another guy another, like his buddy Jim.
Yeah.
He's
also inside the mirror?
He's on the other mirror.
Okay,
and
okay.
he's looking in, and he warps his buddy's tear. So the camera shows his tear fall and then warp.
Weird. There are layers within this. There are mirrors within mirrors.
All right, that bit's over.
Wow, we got so far. Anyway, we'll make a romantic comedy about the man inside the mirror one day, never.
It will definitely just be called The Man in the Mirror.
So let's talk about Nicolas Cage when he comes out in this movie, because he starts out, I feel like the selling point for his character, what he was told every time, like he's like, I'm Nicolas Cage, what's my motivation? It's just be a badass.
Yeah,
the whole
literally.
goddamn time.
Everything he does.
I feel like Nicolas Cage always supplies his own costumes. Like I really, really feel like that's how he is. Because he was in that one. I want to say it was his David Lynch movie. Was it? What was the one with Nicolas Cage in that David Lynch movie? It's not Mulholland Drive, is it? No. I cannot remember the name of it. In the movie, though, he wears a snakeskin jacket, and it is shocking to nobody that snakeskin jacket was actually his own that he provided on set. Like they did not cast him.
Wild
in this.
at Heart.
Wild at Heart. Is that David Lynch?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I had a feeling because it has Laura Dern in it, and he loves her.
He's the only one who cast Laura Dern.
Laura Dern.
Can we just for a moment?
Oh, guys, yes.
We lost David Lynch.
I'm not gonna lie. Like I typically see, not that I don't care about celebrity deaths or anything like that, but I try not to get too hung up on celebrity lives and things like that. I try not to like put them up on this pedestal. That is the first time I've seen a celebrity death in news that I was actually like, oh, that hurts. Yeah. I felt that one for a moment.
And it's not even just like he's an amazing filmmaker.
Yes.
Like partially because of how much he took risks.
Yes.
Right? He literally, like, he created Lynchianism.
It's a
right?
whole
It
thing
is
that we
its
use to
own thing.
describe a vibe of things now. It is created.
Yeah.
It's
A24
inspired
would not
so
exist
much.
in the state of art.
I would argue that
it
the
is.
foundation of A24 is probably based in Lynchianism.
And I don't know, like the way he was just such a wholesome man. Like if you haven't before, just go to YouTube and type in David Lynch directing kids and watch how he directed people.
It so
is the
sweet.
Cutest, funniest thing. Because he was kind of an asshole, but like in the most endearing kind of way. And I
just like
really
your
love him.
grandpa that you love so much, you know?
Yeah.
Like he's kind of an ass, but you know, he's in a lovable way, you know?
If you forget to write down your ideas, you will want to commit suicide.
There's a compilation of straight up like 5 or 6 different separate interviews over years' time where he brings that up so often. Just if you forget to write your ideas down, you will want to commit suicide.
It's true, though.
He keeps saying that.
He keeps saying it, but it's also like he is just so transcendent.
So for
and he's
David
so
Lynch,
smart.
write down your ideas, please.
Everybody, right now, any idea you have, write it down.
I think he's a wonderful person. One of my favorite bits is in one of the later iterations of Twin Peaks, the later seasons of it, or one of the movies or something, where he's talking to. There's that one like investigator or something who starts the show out as a man and then transitions to a woman later in the season, right? And he's talking to that character because David Lynch is in the world of Twin Peaks, right?
Yeah.
He has his own character, which is a great character, by the way. He plays a wonderful person.
Coop!
It's
Hey,
so
Coop!
enjoyable. Coop, I got these inserts in my ears. He's
I can't hear you, Coop.
I can't do it well enough, and it's hilarious. But anyway,
he's
there's this
amazing.
bit where he's talking to that one character, and he's talking about how they were like boys at the Force who laughed at that character when they decided to transition, right? And he told them, quote, "Fix your hearts or die." And that's like, God damn, that's so good. I love that.
He was just...
God bless you, David Lynch.
We need more David
both for
Lynches.
trans rights and also just like as a great damn quote. Like that's just incredible. Fix your hearts or die. It's wonderful. Anyway, we lost a wonderful person.
And I mean, not in like the sense of like a threat, right?
Yes.
Like he didn't mean it in that way. He's just like, if you don't change, well, I don't believe in threatening people's lives, but like, I don't.
That's fair.
I don't think he did it either, though. I don't think that was the point of it. It's more like you're dead at heart if you don't change the way you see things.
It is not worth living to live with a heart with it that impure and black, you know?
You know what I mean?
What's so wild about David Lynch is the fact that he explored such darkness in the world and like got to these really fucked up, weird places that make you think and make you feel super weird. Like explores this incredibly dark heart of the world and society and everything that's happening, but also had such such a true and honest belief in like the goodness of humanity, just as a person, just like really such a hopeful person. Like throughout all of the pandemic, he would do like his little news reports, like it's a Friday yet again. Like it was the weather reports.
It's Friday once again,
which are always just so hopeful in such a dark time. Like it's so weird to see that happen all the time. Like these people who like explore these dark themes in media, and then are also such like beautiful people at heart. You know,
I mean, it's obvious that we're David Lynch fans because our portraits are the eyes from Eraserhead.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
That was the inspiration behind that shoot there. But anyway, off of David Lynch, Willy's Wonderland. So Nicolas Cage, I feel like he supplies all of his own costumes
and
much
his
of the
own
time.
vehicles.
Yes, I feel like he's a sports car kind of guy. Truly.
And probably his own energy drinks.
Honestly, though. Like, who knew Nicolas Cage could make waiting for a tow truck look so badass?
Seriously. Like, he's just standing there on the side of the road looking like the most badass motherfucker you've ever seen in your life.
Yep.
And it's just Nicolas
Truly,
Cage.
and he does not speak a word. He doesn't throughout this whole movie, but you get that pretty early on. He doesn't have to say anything to be a badass, right? So he's driving in his Camaro. Who knows who this person is, where he is off to, what his intentions are. He's driving down the road in some random town, and he gets all of his tires popped by these like road spikes.
Yep.
And it's like, how were those? Because like there's a tow truck guy that picks him up. He drives him by the sheriff. He's like, "Oh, sheriff, I found your little spikes out on the road again. Thought you might want these." And it's like, that's not strange to you that these spikes are just out on the road for anybody.
Basically, we have the plot of The Mean One and the plot of The Strangers.
Oh, yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Like immediately.
Yeah, right away, right? Where it's like town seems to be in on this strange thing because like immediately it feels like a setup because what happens at the start, Nicolas Cage, his tires get busted, so he brings it into this tow shop and the shop is like, hey, so it's going to be $1,000 to fix all this up. And Nick Cage is like, okay, well, here's a credit card. He's like, no, we're just cash over here, right? Looks over to the ATM. It's like, nope, sorry, ATM hasn't worked in years. I guess, are you willing to work it off? And it's like, as soon as he says that, it's like, okay, so this is a setup.
And the way that man had a sausage in his mouth, you would have guessed this was porn.
The whole time.
The whole setup.
Well, because I thought it was a cigar.
Got a way to pay this out?
Yeah, any other way you're willing to work off this car?
I don't do porn.
But you don't talk in this movie.
I don't cock in this movie either.
Is that anything?
That's good. No, that's great. But it really feels like a setup to get Nicolas Cage to start working at this place. Because, yeah, that's what they do. They're like, okay, you cannot pay for the payments. You can't pay for this car being fixed, right? So what we're going to do instead, you're going to work overnight at this defunct, abandoned, like, kids' restaurant. What are they called? What is the name of Chuck E. Cheese? Like, what would you call that establishment?
Family Fun Center.
There we go. Family Fun Center. That's the term. I couldn't remember that term. No, but
it's
so
the
that's
FFC.
That's what ends up happening. Family Fun Center.
It's the FFC.
You've heard of the FCC. Now get ready for the FFC.
FFC.
But it really does look like it like everyone in the town is guiding him to this position, right? So it's pretty simple, right? He's like, you're just going to come in and work for this. So we've introduced some characters here. We've got the sheriff of the town who seems like she also knows some stuff. You got this mechanic here who works for the owner of Willy's Wonderland now. His name is Tex McAdoo. Tex like the state.
Like you take his hat off, he replaces it with a super tall hat. You got Dimmadome.
Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dinsdale Dimmadome. Call me Tex McAdoo.
Tex McAdoo,
owner of the Willy's Wonderland. Owner of the wonderful Willy's Wonderland. But every 4 shots in this movie is just like Nicolas Cage looking like a badass.
Yes, especially at the beginning. We would get some exposition, and then all of a sudden Nicolas Cage would be like washing his hands. And you're like, oh my God, sing happy birthday.
But so the movie starts out, the premise that Tex McAdoo tells him is that, oh, well, we had to shut down because back in the day when it was open, some kids were climbing up on the animatronics. They got hurt, mom sued us, and then we had to shut it down. I'm like, this definitely feels like some kind of cover story, right?
Oh,
like
absolutely.
This can't be, right? All the while, Nicolas Cage gets right to work. Like instantly, he does not gripe about anything. He's not like, I'm not doing any fucking work. No way.
Well, he doesn't say anything.
No, he doesn't say anything. But like, there's never a moment where he is against working for this place, right? He's like, I have a job to do. By the end of it, they'll give me my car all fixed up. No problem. I'll be on my way. He gets to work. No questions asked.
I genuinely, like this time around, I found that so funny. I loved it. I loved watching him just go in and clean shit.
Not for a
not
moment.
Even phase.
This place looks terrible. There's grime and blood all over the place. Oil from the machines, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, there's spider webs and dust and cups knocked all over the place. This place is in absolute disrepair. And they just like show him a supply of cleaning or a closet of cleaning supplies. He's like, all right, get to work. And Nick Cage is like, Sure thing. Puts on his employee t-shirt.
And he's ready to go.
He's like, here I go. So he really does just start cleaning the place.
He really does. But like in the dumbest ways. Like, Nick, you ever cleaned a fucking establishment before?
He starts by mopping, and that's mistake
one.
one.
He starts by like wiping a table and then immediately goes to mopping.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Which doesn't make any sense. Like, I would start top to bottom, like start higher, knock them all down. The floor is the last thing I would get to.
You gotta start in quadrants too. You can't start in the middle of the room. You gotta start in like a corner. Get that all taken care of in this
If I was in this situation, I would have to break it up into chunks. If I
Rooms
looked
by
at it
room.
all at once, I would be paralyzed.
Yeah. And you'd have to do, seriously, like room by room.
Yeah, exactly.
Instead of just start in the biggest room in the middle.
So Nicolas Cage goes straight to work just cleaning this place, right? And he's really just like not half-assing it either. He's really putting his back into it.
My man is cleaning that like 40 people.
Absolutely. Honestly, he should have his own business, like Cage Cleaning.
Maybe
like,
that's what it is.
That's his whole
Maybe
job.
The janitor is actually his God-given name.
Yeah, he's like, oh, you guys don't know how you got the right man for the job. I'm the best janitor in the business. He hands them their card, his business card at the very end of this, and it's just
Tell
like,
your friends.
Tell your. That's the one thing he says is tell your friends, and it's his janitor business. He's like world renowned. He has awards for his janitorial work.
But it says the janitor will clean anything, and then there's an asterisk with a 30-minute break every 30 minutes.
That is something they established there. He not only does he get to work, but like he is so into work that he has established he needs breaks every so often.
Honestly, genius.
It's great. No, and that's what really made me laugh about how serious he's taking this, because he could easily like half-ass clean some stuff, lays off and take a break here. All right, maybe I'll get back to cleaning. He has routinely set breaks for himself.
Yeah.
And it's so funny.
Oh, it's hilarious.
The fact that he would go to such lengths to make this a whole thing for him. But so he starts this. And I guess before we transition from there, every 30 minutes, what does he have to have?
He
every
has
30
to drink
minutes.
his Punch Energy drink, and then he finds a pinball machine in the break room.
Yeah, so there's a break room that he decides to go to for his breaks, which is really funny. He could take his breaks anywhere. He uses the break room further. In there's a dust cover covering this pinball machine, and he decides to like clean it all off, polish it, make it look real nice, and then just continues to take the rest of his breaks playing pinball.
But before this even happens, before his first break, he's actually already killed an animatronic. So while he's mopping the floor, ostrich comes up to him.
Yes, Aussie ostrich.
One of the funniest moments of the movie happens where the ostrich is just standing there and he just starts hitting it with his mop.
Yeah, because like they don't take very long to start like the whole like, oh, the animatronics are alive and they're moving, because there's several shots of him like mopping there. You see them moving behind him. It just puts itself right in front of his face, and not knowing what to do, just hits it with his stick right in front of him a couple times, and then they get right to work.
Yeah, and he gets down, pushes it onto the ground, breaks his mop in half, and stabs it.
Yeah.
After I actually liked this moment because the ostrich stabs him in the cheek, and it's that moment he's like, oh, this thing's gonna kill me. You don't see that realization in his eyes because this man is soulless.
Yes.
But you do see that shift in attitude where he's like, guess it's just another thing I have to clean.
Yep.
Breaks his mop and stabs the thing.
And he fucks this thing up.
Absolutely.
Like immediately. It takes we know nothing about this character. He hasn't said a word. We know nothing about where he came from, where he's going, anything. All we know is he's a hard worker, and he's a killer, apparently. Because he just tears into this animatronic
No problem.
with hardly a scratch on him. Like the bird gets one scratch on him, and that's all it takes. He's
And
like,
then it
okay,
murders it.
I'm killing this thing now. And he does.
And you never even see a stunt double.
No, never. But so the craziest thing is that so we have this story happening now. He is here. He's trying to work off to get the repairs done on his car. He's killing animatronics, no problem. Then also in this movie, there's a group of like activist teenagers with a mission to destroy Willy's Wonderland.
Their entire purpose was just to die.
It really could have been unnecessary, but I'm honestly I am of the belief that like were it not for them existing in the movie, it would have been a lot shorter. Like I feel like the movie
20 minutes.
Yeah, the movie would not have been long enough because Nicolas Cage is so adept in killing animatronics apparently.
I just wish they had a little more motivation.
Yeah.
Right? Like they come in and they're just like, no, we're going to burn this place down. And then they're like,
yeah, earlier in the movie we see the main the leader of this group, Liv, she's like trying to burn it down. The sheriff actually arrests her, brings her somewhere else where the friends have to rescue her from. But I wish there was some motivation there. Like, what's the point?
We kind of get some later in the movie, but
Yes.
it's not enough to even work.
It really feels like they kind of tried to shoehorn these people in here again, because it really feels like the movie would not have been long enough without them.
These kind of movies, we always talk about how we're going to get more victims for the killers.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
We always need more victims for the killers.
We need more monster bait, right? It's
Which
the whole thing.
is fine. I just these characters are so uninteresting. Like, it wasn't criminal in how they were acting. They just were so uninteresting.
That's the thing. I'm like, there was maybe one or two characters that I was like, oh, your acting isn't that great. The acting was fine. There wasn't really anything wrong with their acting. It was believable enough.
They were just uninteresting. I just
uninteresting
didn't care
characters with lacks of motivation and stuff, and not really the continuity in their motivation. Sometimes was really here and there.
Yeah.
There were some characters who were scared, and then they're like, "Oh, let's go do this thing instead," and completely let our guard down. Other ones who I don't know. I just didn't really care much for them.
And there was a kid later in the movie. One of them kind of alludes to having trans. Dealing with some trans stuff. Did you even notice that?
Not really.
I didn't notice it until this time. One of the animatronics is I know what it's like to have feelings inside of you and want to be someone different, but not being able to do that. I can help you with this. And you see this character kind of go with this yeah, I do feel that way. You understand me. You have this almost really captivating moment.
Yes.
That literally goes nowhere.
It goes nowhere and gets
came
cut
out of nowhere.
and it's done. It's crazy.
And I liked it. I actually got engaged at that moment. I was oh, what, are we going to get?
It pulled you in because
but then I remembered I saw it a year ago.
All of the other moments that are not Nicolas Cage beating up a monster are not incredibly interesting a lot of the time. The plot left a bit to be desired a lot of the time, right?
Exactly.
But so then it's basically you mentioned this. You're it's vignettes of Nicolas Cage beating up a monster or one of the animatronics, and then other things happen, and then we're back to another one of these moments.
This movie is kind of a sketch comedy episode where you have a bunch of sketches of Nicolas Cage killing robots.
Yeah,
and then you have the interlude bits, which are all of the humans doing stupid things.
Yeah. I would compare that to bad big monster movies, where I feel I love the Godzilla movies, but I feel there are some of them where you don't care so much about what's happening with the people. You're I just want to see Godzilla tearing up the town again, right?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm working towards. This is kind of one of those movies where the plot and the story of other things going on is not interesting and captivating enough to make me want it. I'm just show me Nicolas Cage beating up a big gorilla.
That's all I want,
because that's what he does next. He cleans the shit out of this one bathroom,
dude.
All of this toilet seats are soiled and yellow. There's grime everywhere, graffiti on every wall. He makes that room shine.
Everything I can forgive except the graffiti. There's no goddamn way he was wiping that off with freaking Pledge. I don't understand what he did.
He had some industrial strength shit because he's the best janitor in the world, Derek.
You're so right.
You forgot
Please
his business card says #1 janitor in the galaxy. Actually, that's the weird thing. And you think has he colored in
break every 30 minutes?
Has he cleaned in space?
He cleaned space.
Color Out of Space. That's another Nicolas Cage movie. Anybody?
That was pretty good.
No,
but he spent all his time raising Arizona.
But then he cleans the hell. He cleans the what? Derek's looking at me all sad because I just
thought we were going to name a bunch of Nicolas Cage
okay,
movies.
yeah.
No, it's fine. We're running out of time.
We're running out of time, and he's a crazy person because he's wild at heart,
We just talked about that one.
I thought it was something.
I thought we were going to Ghost Rider our way into a better.
Okay. That's the one. So Nicolas Cage is cleaning the bathroom, and then I enjoy
the
fact
say it was his dream scenario.
You're the worst. I enjoy the fact that the animatronics can talk, because it does make for some fun moments where they kind of antagonize him a little bit.
Yeah.
Because the gorilla closes all of the stalls in the bathroom. Okay, so this is a thing for me though. So the gorilla closes all of it's huge, fucking gigantic gorilla. The costume for the gorilla is huge.
It's so big.
And so Nick Cage is cleaning the mirror on the bathroom wall, right? And then the gorilla goes, coo, 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 closes 4 different bathroom stalls. He's like, let's play hide and seek. Come and find me. He's like, and then Nicolas Cage goes and opens one. He's like, oh, you're too cold. And he progressively opens more doors till he finds the gorilla. The gorilla, there is no point in this movie that it tells us the animatronics are supernatural and can teleport places. So that means while Nicolas Cage is wiping this mirror, a gorilla shuffles behind him.
And the gorilla walks funny.
Yeah,
anyway.
no, it already kind of it's
waddled. But you're telling me this fucking gorilla sneaks behind him, climbs up above the toilets, I'm gonna swing down on you like a banana.
I'm dying just thinking about that big ass gorilla costume trying to sneak behind, or even like crawling on the floor, or climbing on the ceiling. I don't know, but so. Because, what happens is he opens all of the stalls. The last one is still empty, and then it swings down from the ceiling. But even then, that thing is gigantic. You could look above you and see it within your eyesight.
Even if you didn't look up, even if you looked down, your peripheral vision would see him up there.
Yeah. God.
You would be up there.
That's just, I'm sorry, just the thought about the logistics of that are fucking hilarious.
There are no logistics of that.
No,
it doesn't make any
not.
goddamn sense.
But anyway, so they have a pretty, the fight scenes are very interesting. I actually really like the fight choreography and stuff.
I liked it all except the way the camera
worked. Yeah, the camera work can be a bit sickening. Sometimes it moves real fast.
Yeah, and I get why they did that, because honestly, these animatronics costumes are pretty janky. Like, they're good looking, don't get me wrong, but I can really see how they'd be hard to work with.
I'm sure they're not meant to be used in action fighting sequences like that. I'm sure it would be hard to get them to move right and stuff and not look like a person in a suit.
So instead, they would just have a series of animatronic bite human and the camera shake.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But so he fights the gorilla in the bathroom and again makes pretty short work of the gorilla and then curb stomps him into a toilet, which is when the first kill was already pretty gory, brutal, and he gets splashed with a bunch of oil, which looks like blood, which is a really fun effect. I do enjoy that. We didn't mention when he killed the ostrich, he tore its spine,
tore
its
was
neck
dope.
out of it. It was really cool,
sick.
its robot spine out of it. But in this one, he curb stomps this gorilla into a urinal, toilet thing, and just blood all over the place. What we forgot to mention after the first time is one of my favorite stacking bits in this movie is that every time he kills one of the animatronics, it splashes blood oil all over him. He goes to the employee closet, grabs a fresh, clean shirt, and puts it on.
And then wraps the animatronic up in a trash bag and throws it by the door.
Because he realizes pretty early on, I'm trapped in here, I can't get outside. It's not like he was trying to leave.
Fine with it.
He has no problem with it. It's not even I'm trying to escape this place. Maybe I can get out of here early. No, he just wanted to go throw the garbage away.
He literally just wanted to do his job.
Get rid of this gorilla that tried to kill me.
If every employee was like this in the world, there would never be problems.
No, it would be a utopian society if everyone was as hard a worker as this janitor is.
Because these animatronics, at the end of the day, are getting in the way of him needing to clean the place so he can get his car and go.
That's
funny. Literally his entire motivation.
I love it.
It's phenomenal.
He never tries to cheat his way out of the work or do something different. He has one motivation. He's I see the way it is. I'm not going to try to work around it. This is the way.
I have such a higher appreciation for this bit this time around. I did not appreciate
just for him as a hard working man.
Yeah,
his spirit cannot be broken. That's the thing. The entire time, even after he has killed two of these things, now he is so unbothered by these things. He doesn't show any fear, any frustration, any oh, now I got to deal with this. It's just it's in my way again. Now we kill it, and I'll continue and get my car and go on. He just does not ever lose sight of the big picture. Yeah. He is so motivated the entire time.
Doesn't.
But I really feel again, he would be just fine surviving the night with these monsters were it not for these teens trying to get him out of here. Because they show up to the place they're originally just going to, they're just dumping gasoline around the perimeter of the building. They're just going to light it and then walk away. It's not a great plan, but
Liv, a plan, I guess.
Liv is the one that sees him inside, and she's like, oh, well, we can't burn the place down with this man inside, because she even is at the window hey, you need to get out of there. Those things are going to kill you. And he just kind of looks at her and then goes back to his job.
Oh, yeah.
Goes back to cleaning. Cannot stop. But so honestly, the movie would probably be half an hour long if he was just in there and they just didn't stop him from doing anything.
It's true.
So it seems like Nicolas Cage really wanted these freaks to himself, because eventually Liv does break into the building to try to save him. She has a knife in her hand trying to kill one of the things. He stops her.
No, the lizard smacks the knife out of her.
No, earlier than that. The first time when she walks in, she's fighting the siren, right?
You're right.
She goes to stab it, and he stops her hand and takes the knife and just walks away.
Well, I kind of...
Why would he remove the weapon from her?
I interpreted that as him not wanting a mess.
You're right.
Because, in that moment, those robots weren't doing anything.
No.
They were just standing there.
And that's another thing that really gets my goat about the fact is okay, after two of these things, he knows they are alive and will kill him, are probably going to try at some point. He does not ever jump the gun on that.
No.
He's not well, they're just standing there. Let's go get them now. He's no, I'm going to let you come to me.
Yeah.
And we'll take care of that then.
Which is wasting good quality cleaning.
Yeah, that's cleaning time. And also, I guess it saves him from fighting all of them at once, right?
Yeah.
Because they do decide to come at him just one at a time for the most part.
Honestly, terrible terrible decision.
Yeah, terrible decision on their behalf. But so the teens give us our first little exposition dump. It's like basically the gist of what happened with Willy's Wonderland with the first creator of it. He apparently was some sicko serial killer who just hired a bunch of other sicko serial killers.
Yeah.
And they would do this thing where they would like trick families to be like, oh, let's have your children's party in this one private party room, and then would kill them in it.
Yeah.
And of course that didn't work for very long because eventually people noticed like people were missing, the room started to smell. So they're like, let's get the authorities involved in this. And then they go and find, oh, what happened? There's all these people that died in here. Not only that, all of these serial killers that worked for this place performed a like satanic ritualistic suicide that then put their spirits into the animatronics.
They literally drank Kool-Aid.
Yeah, they literally drank Kool-Aid.
It's not even a joke.
We're
They
not even
literally
joking
had
here.
Cups of Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
And they drank it.
So now we understand that they are possessed animatronics with the souls of these people that used to work here that were murderers. Another guy, actually, Tex McAdoo, he's the one who like, I don't know how he acquired the place, but he's the new owner of the place, and he knows that they're alive. And so like he's the one who's masterminding all this thing. We're going to bring people here, feed them to you, and then get the hell out of Dodge, just to protect themselves, I guess. But so we get a little bit of an exposition dump that's going in here. I really do appreciate the showmanship of the possessed suits because it's not just like they don't just pop up and kill. Like they like turn the lights off and then light themselves. They sing a little song for the people. Like
it's fun.
There's a lot that goes into it and stuff, but they are all also really easily distracted.
Oh yeah,
because then we basically just get a sequence of like all of the teens splitting up and then having their own robot attacking and then killing most of them.
It's happened so much in movies.
Yeah,
and this one is just expected that the group of friends is going to split up.
Yeah, of course.
So sad. It's so stupid.
Yes. It's really so.
And you have the two that are off to have sex.
Yep.
Why are you having sex?
That happens while Nicolas Cage is on another break. Again, the entire time, the funniest bit is that, like, no matter what is happening in the room, even if he's mid-fight with an animatronic, if his timer goes off on his watch, he's going to go have a break.
He literally does that. There's a moment where he's standing there with Liv, and they're looking at a robot who's walking towards them
who just killed somebody, too.
Who just killed someone. His watch goes off, and he looks at her like, I gotta go.
He
doesn't say it, but like,
no, his look is definitely like, well, I mean, it's break time.
I gotta go.
My hands are tied.
Her knife
that he stole,
and then walks away and cracks open a cold punch drink and starts humping the fucking pinball
What's
machine.
crazy is because there was some weird sexual tension between him and this pinball machine that is never addressed.
He was so horny. Well, nothing with him is ever addressed.
No,
he was so horny towards that pinball machine.
But so it's just hilarious to me that like he no matter what will stop to take a break to have a punch and to have his punch energy drink and then play pinball. Also, it made more sense to me at first, like, oh, maybe his character is an alcoholic and he's going to get a beer every time, right? He's drinking energy drinks.
Yeah.
Like he has like 7 or 8 of these things in the span of his shift here. Like
he's got to stay up all night.
That's not good for you. Like that would kill you.
I mean, they're only 12 ounces.
Are they?
Yeah.
I mean,
this is a sign of a size of a can.
I guess you're right, but still,
most energy. I don't have one next to me. Well, most energy drink cans are like 20 ounces. So.
But still, like that's a lot of caffeine to be consuming.
I'm not endorsing it.
No. I'm just saying he's a crazy person. So anyway, like basically to save us a lot of time, there's just a sequence of like the teens are split up now. They keep getting killed off by the animatronics. Nicolas Cage never once in this whole duration has struggled at all in a fight with any of these animatronics. He is just a ruthless killer. For why? Who knows? He's just Nicolas Cage.
It's that goddamn confidence.
Yeah.
Where he literally just walks in like glazed eyes and just takes him out and then moves on with his day.
Because you would imagine most of them put up a fight. There's one scene where a crocodile animatronic kills like the two that were having sex with each other. They're done. They're wasted at this point. And then like the crocodile put up a pretty good fight. And then Nicolas Cage just walks right up to it and then just decimates the thing. Like it doesn't even fight him really at all.
No, yeah.
There's a really fun sequence though in that where Nicolas Cage takes his 2 jaws in his hands and rips them apart. Yeah. And then rips his tongue out of its mouth. The kills are fun.
Pretty dope.
The kills are really fun.
Specifically, the robot kills are fun.
The robot kills, yes.
Because anytime one of the humans die, it's not great.
No, it's not as great. And also, like, it is strange to think that, like, I would consider this movie a very brutal movie were these kills happening to real people.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, if a person got curb stomped into a toilet seat and had their spine ripped out, that would be really intense.
Be insane.
But since they're robots, it makes it a bit easier.
I mean,
But
they're puppets.
they're puppets, yeah.
And I feel
They're
like
puppet robots.
puppets would probably be pretty upset.
I think they would probably be pretty upset. Do you think our puppets would probably have something to say about that? Should
Well,
we?
I was watching this movie and I was very upset.
Yes, it is me, Count Trivia, and I had some choice words to say as well about
I
the
did
movie.
not like the way that the puppets were represented in this film.
I mean, you get the few bad puppets, and then it's like, what are we even doing
Right,
here? You know,
exactly.
Like we're not
I'm
all
not
bad
murdering
guys.
anybody.
I'm I'm a,
You don't
I'm
murder
a
them.
vampire
No,
puppet,
but
so I
you-
cannot say whether or not I have
You-
killed people legally.
You don't actually kill anybody.
Law
We talked
lawyerman
about
told
this.
me not to say anything.
No, we don't. We talked about this. You hire people who have too much blood to come in and you drink them, and they're
Yes,
fine.
I put it in the Craigslist and I tell them, hey, you out there, you with too much stupid blood, come and give it to me.
And your buddy Craig has such a long list of
He's never
names.
does anything with it really, but I still find a way, you know.
Yeah. Anyway, that's besides the point. The point is these puppets
End the puppet hate,
but
I
end
say.
puppet hate because we're not doing anything to anybody. We're just trying to be fun.
This is true, yes. So coming from two puppets to you, end puppet hate, please.
Please.
We're very nice.
This movie, these puppets should have fought back against that fucking Nick Cage guy, man. I think if I was one-on-one
Death
with
to Nick Cage is what I say.
Okay, calm down, buddy. You're putting on this to the internet.
Here I go.
All right.
If anything happens to Nick Cage, it is not our fault.
No,
It
seriously,
is
I
not
actually
Count Trivia's fault.
Genuinely love the man.
Genuinely love the man, and I'll talk to Trivia. He won't do anything
But
to him.
Triv, like we said, he just drinks people a little bit and then leaves. He doesn't
Drains a
actually
little
kill
bit of their
anybody.
blood. He's never taking it all. He's not that. He's a puppet-sized puppet. He could not handle all of the blood in a person, right?
He takes it. Never mind. I was going to make
no.
a really bad joke.
Oh no! I'm gonna
going.
I'll trust you on that. So it's a sequence of just like we mentioned earlier, vignettes of Nicolas Cage kicking the ever-loving shit out of a lot of different animatronics. Right?
Yeah.
Then there's a weird, I want to say twist, but it's just like more to the story you already could have suspected. The sheriff tells her like she's called somebody in to help her for like backup. I don't really know why she has a second cop in the
Another
building
person
with
to
her.
kill.
Just another person to kill. I guess you're right. She then tells him that like a while back we had these killers who then sacrificed themselves to possess these suits. The suits, they tried to lock them up and be like, no, we can't have you killing people like at this place, right? So they opened Willy's Wonderland a second time. They still killed people, so they shut it down. Then the animatronics basically got hungry, and they're like, we're going to go out of the building and go kill people in town, at the mechanic shop, at the grocery store, all over the place.
I just don't understand the thought process behind the hunger thing.
Yeah.
Because they took it literally, where these puppets only kill people basically by eating them.
Yeah,
They-
by gnawing
except for maybe
on them.
one. They're literally eating.
Yeah, they're not killing for fun or to kill. They're killing for sustenance at this point.
Apparently.
Which, yeah,
Makes no
why
sense.
is that? That's
No
strange.
goddamn sense.
It's a very strange way to go about it. But so what had happened was, a la the mean one, they decided, okay, in order to keep our town safe and protect the people from you just mercilessly killing people out on the streets, what we're going to do is we're going to come up with a system where we'll get unsuspecting people, like tell them, oh, you need to get your car fixed. Oh, you don't have the money for it. Okay, come work a night at this place. And then the animatronics will kill you. They will feed, and then we'll do it again over and over again for the rest of time, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so.
But so it's literally the mean one, right? Where like the
Literally
town
the
is
mean
trying
one.
to protect themselves by killing other people to feed this
Yeah.
demonic thing that exists amongst them, right? But yeah, so it's so now there's another level to this whole thing, this whole situation here, right?
And yeah, it was another case of someone giving just a whole bunch of plot dump
just a big
to
exposition
some random
dump.
person.
Yeah.
But the great thing about this is all of the exposition dumps happen to different people, and yet it feels like everyone in the story knows the cohesive story.
Yes, exactly.
It doesn't make any sense.
So, but then we do find out the one, like, I'll give it to them. It's a bit of a motivation for the main girl, Liv, to do. She was the daughter of one of some parents that were brought into this trap, right?
Yeah.
For some reason, the animatronics did not kill her, and so the sheriff came in the next morning. She's like, "Oh no, this little girl is trapped here. What am I going to do? I have to save her." So she adopted her. So it's like, okay, so the sheriff's adopted daughter, her parents were killed in this trap scheme thing. So that's why she is motivated to burn the place down. It's like, okay, I mean, I'll give it to them.
Yeah.
That's fine, I guess, right? So, I mean, there's a moment where, like, Nicolas Cage gets caught by the cops, like, the sheriff and her new cop guy come in, and they tie his hands up and leave him for dead, and there's a really corny line where Liv goes to them, she's like, you don't understand, he's not trapped in here with them, they're trapped in here with him. Mic drop.
I actually really like that line.
I did like it. It is a very fun line, but so even when he's hands tied behind his back, still not a problem for him at all.
Can we talk about Siren Sarah for a
Yeah,
second,
we can talk about Siren Sarah.
Okay, so like, she's so sorry, I broke because I hate her. She's so bad. I'm sorry, lady who played her. You did a great job. It's not your fault. But like, they literally have a moment earlier in the film where she's like running up and down these trees and like dancing away.
Yeah.
Like, she can do that. I can tell that this is an athletic woman who can do these kind
Who
of
is
things.
capable of
but
doing
they
this stuff.
put so much CGI on top of her doing this that it looked so goddamn stupid.
Which
it
again,
looked less robotic.
It really stands out in movies. I feel like when you do a movie, you kind of have to commit pretty early on to like the balance of CGI and practical effects that you're going to be using. Because if there had been more CGI utilized within the practical suits, then it would kind of make sense. But just to go from like very good practical suits that they use to doing this completely CGI'd weird woman climbing up the wall, it stands out like a lot.
It really, really does. And then in this moment, like, it was just so obvious that she was just a girl wearing a costume. And even the way he killed her, he like jumped on top of her and like crushed her head with his knees.
Yeah, that was strange.
Even that was just like, you're just a girl wearing a mask.
Just a girl
Not even
wearing
a costume.
No,
just
yeah.
a mask.
Just a mask, really. That was all she had to it. But yeah, it is pretty wild. He like manages to get on top of her. He like basically breaks her neck with his legs and then snaps his hand ties off of him. Then goes to kill the other one by like pulling its head off or something.
Literally just twisted his head off.
Yeah, it's crazy. But again, every time after fucking up so many animatronics, he still puts on a fresh shirt and gets back to cleaning.
Yep.
No matter what, he's getting the job done.
This man is committed.
He is so committed to the job. And we have to mention, we would be remiss if we did not mention the fact that there is one sequence where he's on another one of his many breaks during the night.
The song.
He just starts, they're playing this, it's actually kind of a kick-ass original theme song they wrote and made for Willy's Wonderland.
It's so good.
It's very, it's reminiscent of like an 80s like theme song. Like it was really, really fun.
And the cinematography here kicks so much ass.
Pretty
It's
fun.
like the pinball flying up and down the machine,
and they got these
him
like
pressing the button.
like these radio like rainbow effects going along the edges of the screen to make it look like a dream sequence.
All the while, Nicolas Cage is dry humping this pinball
and just
machine.
doing so much weird dancing, just all. And Nick Cage just did that on his own.
Oh, absolutely! Like it was the most Nick Cage thing I've ever seen.
That is sincerely the moment where it's like, yep, this is a Nicolas Cage movie right here for that reason. So basically nothing, like the cops, they handcuff him and like he ends up breaking out of that. The cop then comes, this is actually hilarious because I guess they take the lock off the door at some point because he kills 2 more animatronics inside of it.
Yeah.
He then walks outside with trash bags full of like animatronic guts, sees the sheriff who's like posted up outside.
She's waiting for him to die.
Yes. And he throws the trash away. He sees her and just like
waves at her,
hand up, just like, oh, hey, sup, and goes back inside. He's not trying to escape.
It's so good.
It's hilarious. I love that. So then what happens is the sheriff comes inside. She's like, you should be dead. Oh, Willy's going to get you. Then Willy shows up, the ringleader of the whole thing, right? Willy of Willy's Wonderland. When one swipe of his claw rips this woman in half. And honestly, I loved the effect. I thought it was really fun.
It was so fun.
There
it was actually pretty decent.
There are lots of effects we have like not mentioned and stuff just because they're all fairly similar to each other, but each of the animatronic kills, a lot of the kills like were very good, very fun. Yeah. There were some decapitations both to people and to animatronics.
Yeah, there were a couple of those that were pretty fun.
Really impressive stuff. But what I did enjoy about Willy as a character is that this entire time nobody has like, they've put some scratches on Nicolas Cage, but he has like not really been breaking a sweat tearing into these creatures, right?
Yeah.
Willy, for one fight, actually does fuck him up quite a bit.
Yeah,
like claws all over him, throws him into the ball pit. He thinks he's dead.
He's the ringleader of the whole thing.
Which I'm so glad about. I'm like, okay, at least one of you is capable of putting up a fight, because goddamn, this dude is making short work of all of you guys.
Well, once Nicolas Cage gets home, he'll turn back into the animatronic that he is.
Oh, okay.
His family's fun center.
That makes sense, yeah.
Go check out.
Yeah, of course. But then, so like, there's a split, there's just a tiny moment where you think, oh no, Nicolas Cage is in trouble. Then he just gets up, like no problem, cleans himself up, and then proceeds to, again, beat the life out of Willy with no problem. It's really just a never-ending onslaught of just bashing right into his face, where he takes like a bag full of cans of his Punch energy drink, and then, I don't know why he did this, took the 2 sticks of the mop that he broke in half, tapes them together,
made no goddamn
side
sense.
by side.
Because he wanted to be a little more sticky.
Two sticks is better than one, I guess. Like Like, there's
Well,
nothing.
He was from Tennessee, so he wanted too stickasy.
He's really sticking it to the man. What the hell is that?
Too stickasy.
Too stickasy, of course. Why wouldn't it?
No, that was stupid. Goddamn.
So he beats the the life out of Willy just over and over and over. There's oil blood splashing all over him. Also, there's a fair amount of like After Effects blood effect used in this one that I could have done with less of.
Yeah.
It's not that impressive in this. But then he rips the head off of Willy, and that's it. He wins. So then that should be the end of the movie, right? Tex, the owner, Tex McAdoo, shows up the next day to a spotless Willy's Wonderland. This movie is ridiculous. That is the most ridiculous part about this whole thing.
That he did in that place should not be possible.
The best janitor in the world. That's Nick Cage for you right there.
With
janitor.
a 30-minute break every 30 minutes.
30-minute break every 30 minutes. But so it looks like a brand new building. He has cleaned this place top to bottom, absolutely no problems. So Nicolas Cage just walks up to the dude who's in shock, obviously. He thought this guy would be dead at this point, and he puts his hand out for his keys, hands in the keys, and Nicolas Cage is like, all right, I'll be on my way now. He gets in the car. Liv joins him for some reason. I don't really understand.
They make eye contact, and she's like, I'm going to get in the car now.
Yeah. So
and then she does, and he hands her
kind of wild behavior. So then Tex and his mechanic, they're like, oh, yay, we're free of the curse. All of the animatronics are dead. He's like, I just might open this place back up. It's kind of funny. Like, they were evil dudes for trapping all these people, but they have pretty good intentions afterwards. Like, oh, we'll open this place up afterwards.
Well, because at the end of the day, they were kind of being forced into doing what they were doing.
I don't like condone what they did, but they were like, they had good intentions, I suppose.
They could have just killed the animatronics.
They could have just killed the animatronics themselves, right? But so they're like, yay, we're free. Let's celebrate. But before they can, the siren that Derek hates so much claws her way out of the garbage bags in the trash can. She had somehow like hooked up like a cloth into their tailpipe, lights it on fire, and then they explode.
Yep.
In a crazy fashion.
The worst explosion ever.
It was pretty rough, but I did enjoy it. What is so fucking funny about it, though, is it transitions from a shot of the thing exploding to you seeing the explosion in Nicolas Cage's the reflection of his glasses.
But he's driving away.
He has already driven so far away at this point. Why the hell is the explosion in his glasses? It's not in front of him.
He's driving the opposite direction.
It makes no sense whatsoever.
It was funny. It was so campy.
But then there is one final animatronic kill where they're driving down the road. There was a scene where an animatronic got on a car and escaped for a minute. They didn't kill it fully, though. It's like limping its way on the road, and Nicolas Cage runs it straight into it with his Camaro.
And it's that kind of CGI that like moves too fast for it to be real.
Yeah, it wasn't that good.
And that's it.
That's Willy's Wonderland, folks.
That's it, dude. What a movie.
I had a good time. I don't know. I had a pretty fun time. You want to talk about our expectations?
Let's do it.
So I said it was going to be more weird Nick Cage, right? And I mean, it was really the selling point of the movie. Otherwise, it would just be some nothing Five Nights at Freddy's ripoff, right?
Absolutely. My first one is I'll enjoy this way more this time because I'm not watching it alone. Proved to actually be very true.
Yeah.
This movie probably went up a good 1.5 for me.
For sure.
Just from this viewing.
Absolutely.
So.
I said very loose connection to Five Nights at Freddy's. I mean, I'd say yes, but it's hard not to feel that way with any horror movie being related to this, family fun center, animatronics, characters gone wrong, all of that stuff. So like, yes and no.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll pay more attention to the cinematography and severely be unimpressed. So much goddamn fisheye. Like literally any shot with more than 2 people on the screen had fisheye lens on it, and it was so nauseating.
And it was just subtle enough to make you go, is it there? But then you look at the edges of the screen.
As soon as you see the edges, you see the people squished. And the flashiness was just so awful. But all of the pinball moments were great.
That was fun. That was a really fun sequence. I said it was going to have brutal kills, and the movie, like I mentioned earlier, it would have felt a lot more brutal were the deaths happening to real people and not robots, but some of the deaths to human characters were pretty intense, though that was mostly just people being gnawed on by the creatures, just like rah, 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 rah.
Plot will leave a lot to be desired. I desired less plot dump, but actually this time around, the plot didn't bother me. No. I didn't like the plot dump, but I think the concept for the story was great.
Think the story tracks, it works.
Yeah, and I loved the janitor as a character, just like this man veiled in mystery. I love that veiled mystery protagonist.
I adore the fact that we know nothing about him.
And we know absolutely
nothing.
It's
it was
fantastic.
Perfect. I said it was just going to be fun to see Nicolas Cage beat up animatronics, and sincerely, they were the highlights of the movie. Everything else was really just us biding our time until we came back to a scene like that. That was sincerely the reason to watch the movie.
I mean, same expectation here right, Nick Cage is going to kick ass, and absolutely, you drink
Yes.
that punch, boy.
Yeah, absolutely. Drink that punch. I said there were going to be colors and sets reminiscent of the 80s, and I think there was really fun stuff with all the colors and the sets utilized in there. They really put a lot of, like, I really appreciate the craft that went into this, building this, or maybe they used an existing family fun center, who knows, but like,
I think they did, because they didn't burn it down.
That's true. Had they burned it down, they probably
did not burn it down.
That's true. I bet you're right about that. But everything that went into the sets and the costumes, the practical effects of it all, I really, really enjoyed. And even some of the music felt very reminiscent of the 80s and that kind of fun zaniness. 80s was such a great time for horror movies. There was a lot, just this onslaught of creativity, this ever-flowing love and craftsmanship. I don't know. I could go on about
this
80s movies from then.
Felt like it.
It felt reminiscent of that, though. So absolutely it did.
And then my last one is so much oily blood CGI, which goes against what you're talking about, and it did have too much of that.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of that stuff. Shall we discuss our surprises on this one?
Yeah, man.
I said I was surprised by, I'll admit, I actually had a pretty fun time with this one. I know it is rated higher than most of our stuff, so that shouldn't be a surprise, but we'd heard a lot of bad stuff about this, and I think it was just we watched it in the right setting with the right people and made it a good time, right? The intensity was shocking at times, but I did enjoy it. I liked the brutality that it had sometimes. The camera work was a bit much for me, but I did like the kind of high octane actionness of this horror movie. Actually made it a pretty fun time, more so than like that of the Five Nights at Freddy's movie we watched, right?
Yeah.
It's no surprise, but just it's really fun to watch a silent Nick Cage go crazy on these animatronics.
God,
he really just like
so
let the beast. He uncaged that beast, if I may be so bold. I said I love that we knew absolutely nothing about the silent protagonist. He's a hard worker. He's a great killer. The world's best janitor. That is all we need to know, which I love. And I just want to know what the hell was going on with that pinball machine.
Oh, I can tell you.
It was a lot of fun, but like, what happened?
He was flinging his balls.
Okay.
For me...
Yeah, what are your surprises?
He wasn't as cheesy as I remembered. I remembered it being a little bit more corny than it was. Like, it had moments, but it wasn't as bad.
Yeah.
The gore was a lot tamer than I remembered it as well. I think I was just remembering all of the oil.
Fair.
And I watched it on a better, bigger TV this time, which kind of made it seem like there was less gore.
Right.
And then Nick Cage can truly do anything.
Really?
I will literally watch him do anything.
Yep.
And this movie was a testament.
He's truly an actor that really will elevate any project that he is a part of. It's just another one of those guys.
To see who does their score first.
Okay, ready? We'll go American rules. Go on the 4 count. Ready?
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, that's 2 scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. 2 rocks. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ah, he papered my rock. Dang it.
I mean,
So does that mean you go first then?
Yeah.
Okay.
So my score was horrible.
Woo!
Rewatching this taught me that watching most horror is better with friends. The first time I was not entertained by some of the cheesy scenes and stupid dialogue. This time I had a riotous time with some of the effects and dialogue. I actually enjoyed myself, and I would say that even though this movie was in some essence quite terrible, there is a lot of fun to have and a lot to laugh at and with your friends. I give this 3.5 ripped out robot spines.
That's good. No joke, I almost did that one.
Nice.
Because I used my own rating system, and I was like, I feel like Derek's gonna do this. I should come up with a backup thing just in case.
Nice.
That's funny. My verdict was also that was horrible.
Wow.
Willy's Wonderland isn't going to be remembered for its gripping plot and impressive performances. In fact, it will be most remembered for the psycho silent protagonist that doesn't utter a word. Instead, he speaks with his fists, improvised weapons, and countless cans of punch energy drinks. The brutality this character displays as he tears effortlessly through possessed animatronic mascots is really what makes this movie a fun time with some friends, And the hilarity that comes in at the same time throughout the whole movie just really left me thoroughly entertained. I really, really enjoyed this one. So I'd recommend booking your next party at Willy's Wonderland. I'd give it 3.5 out of 5 cans of punch.
I was going to give it a 3, but my score last time was a 3. So it was like, I have to at least bump it up.
No,
because
I think
I did severely enjoy it.
I
more.
started at a 3, but after talking about it some more, I think I'm also with you. I'm at a 3.5 on this one here. Blah, blah, it is me, Count Trivia. I feel so energetic right now. I had so many cans of punch.
Did you drink?
They really pack a punch.
Blood?
Yeah, I drink Nick Cage's blood, and it's like nothing. There's no blood. Let me tell you guys, there's no more blood in that guy. It's just cans of punch.
I didn't know. You'd find out my secret.
I'm going to go fly around the room now. Goodbye.
Oh, he's playing pinball in the sky.
Gosh, look at him go. God, oh, jeez, he's flying all over the place. So trivia this week for Count Trivia here. Nicolas Cage, obviously, he improvised that pinball dance, which is not really a surprise to anybody. Liv's line where she says he's not trapped in here with them, they're trapped in here with him, is a reference to the character of Rorschach from the limited comic series / graphic novel Watchmen, also adapted in Watchmen 2009, which so I guess that's where that cheesy line comes from.
That's probably why I recognize that line.
Yeah, exactly. According to director Kevin Lewis, this movie is Pale Rider 1985 versus Killer Clowns from Outer Space 1988. That is the vibe that he's going for with this movie.
I feel that.
Which, I mean, totally checks out, right? Siren Sarah, Derek's favorite, is the only animatronic to be voiced by her suit performer, Jessica Graves Davis. The other animatronics are performed and voiced by different people, actually. So, like, Nighty Night and Artie Alligator, whoever have no voice actors whatsoever because they didn't talk a little bit in the movie. This is a weird one that I didn't feel important to me, but according to the props department, the character Kathy, played by Kaylee Cohen, chewed over 81 pieces of pink chewing gum throughout the course of filming.
The character was pointless.
Her character was pointless. We didn't bring her up at all, but she was always chewing gum. But like 81 sticks of gum throughout the filming?
Except for the one time she had sex, then she wasn't chewing gum.
She wasn't chewing gum at that point. She was chewing. Anyway, next. Despite the fact that Nicolas Cage's character, his name is never revealed, at around 3 minutes, a military ID can be seen hanging in the interior rearview mirror of his car, suggesting a military past. So maybe that's why he's so good at killing people.
Okay.
The plates are a reference to Cage's character, U.S. Army Ranger Cameron Poe from Con Air 1997, which is kind of fun. Yeah. But so maybe he's ex-military and that's why he's such a ruthless killer? Don't know. But again, I kind of want to know nothing about him. I don't want to know. I don't need to know. And this struck me as interesting. The screenplay was high on the, quote, blood list, which is apparently this thing I did not know about. It was a list of highly anticipated genre scripts, usually like horror movies and stuff like that apparently people would like really want to be putting into productions, right? So yeah, I looked it up. Apparently the blood list was an annual survey of the best unproduced horror and thriller screenplays as voted on by industry professionals.
Weird.
Which was disbanded not that long ago. But so like that's kind of, so this movie was one that people were actually kind of hot for. They're like, I kind of want to do this movie.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's Willy's Wonderland, everybody. Thanks for joining us here.
Walking in a Willy's Wonderland.
That's good. Why have we waited this whole time to say that?
In the Wonder, you can eat a pizza.
Okay, yeah.
And then walk in and see a little guy.
Okay. Is he in the mirror?
Run at you with a big sword and hit you in your little
Nighty
thighs. Oh, that's pretty good too.
So thank you for joining us as always. Next time you can join us for our next episode will be released after Valentine's Day, but that doesn't mean we can't do a Valentine-centric episode. So I think it'd be really fun. So catch us next time for the movie Valentine from 2001, sitting at an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Funny Valentine.
We're just gonna have songs for all of our stuff now, huh? Here's the synopsis for Valentine. Love is in the air on the most romantic day of the year. Would-be lovers woo hearts with flowers and candy and cards and gifts. Best friends Kate, Paige, Dorothy, Lily, and Shelley are young women looking for a relationship, a Valentine to die for. And this year they might just get their wish. I don't know a lot about this movie.
And candy and cards and gifts.
Yep.
Okay, I'm done.
Kate and Paige.
I've been going too long when I
and
just start
Lily.
singing everything.
We've gone too long. Derek's just in a singing mood.
Singing.
But yes, thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time for Valentine. Before we send you off and on your way, we've got to give you your Garfield horror scope. We know that's why you're here. That's why you there, I see you. You skip to the end of the episode just to see your horror scope for the week.
Can you imagine when in reality people probably leave?
They probably skip this part directly.
They're like, oh,
it's
now I'm done.
It's fun for us. I like it. So the gist of this week's Garfield horoscope here is John takes Garfield out for a walk out in the rain. Garfield's not looking too happy about the rain. John provides an umbrella for him. And then Odie comes in. He looks happy as a clam. And then he comes and shakes off all the water off of him onto everybody else.
Okay, I want to be Odie.
Damn it. I knew you were going to be Odie. Then I would love to be the contemplative snowman up in the top panel.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's Odie's vibe?
So, like Odie, Odie walks through the rain. He's having a happy time. He sees that his friends are hiding under this umbrella. So what does he do? He shakes off all the rain and makes them wet. And you don't see another panel, but I guarantee you they are probably unhappy with him.
Yeah.
But Odie was just trying to share the joy that he was feeling while
Really?
running through this rain.
Because-
And I think it's so important to share the joy that you feel with other people, even if they're not feeling joy from that same thing.
No.
Share your joy.
Because
share
like
your
Garfield
love.
is here, John is here. They don't look too happy about the rain, right? But then Odie, the first panel you see him in, he is happy as a clam.
Exactly.
He is joyous to be seeing his friends running through the rain. He's having a good time.
It's incredible.
Spread the joy here. So I didn't mention this one. The cover photo, the cover panel for this one is Garfield standing next to a snowman. They both got their arms behind their back, and they're just watching the snow, and they're just having a really good time. Now the snowman probably wasn't there beforehand, right? Garfield
Probably not.
saw this moment here, and he's like, this would be a moment best shared with someone else, right?
Yeah.
It's like, why don't I, like, I'll bring in a friend, here's my friend, the snowman here, and just me and this other person, we're just going to share this wonderful moment. So just like, take a second, enjoy something in your life, see the small things in the world, like snowflakes falling down softly in the sky, and, enjoy that moment with a friend, a loved one, somebody else, share this joyous moment, much like Odie sharing his joy of the rain, right? Share your joy, have a special moment with somebody special in your life, And that is your Garfield horoscope for the week. Thank you, as always, for joining us. If you like what we do here, please feel free to follow us on all of our social medias. We are on Instagram at _was_horrible, Twitter at TWH Podcast, Facebook at That Was Horrible Podcast, YouTube at That Was Horrible, and TikTok is still around, so we are at That Was Horrible there as well. We have started uploading some fun videos of us, our gaming series. We played Mouthwashing. We have now finished the series. At the moment, while we are recording this, we have four episodes up right now. They're about 30 minutes long each. So yeah, we have 6 episodes total. We finished the game. We're excited for you guys to see them all, but please go check them out. It'll be really fun.
Go watch the episode of us playing Willy's Wonderland.
Yes.
We don't know what that's going to look like yet, but it's about to happen.
We're about to do it, so we'll see you on the other side of that. But so thank you for joining us as always. Garfield be with you.
And be with you.
Stay spooky.
Goodbye.